is going on, everybody? Thank you for jumping in here tonight. Whoever's joining us live or hitting a replay, I appreciate that so much. I got a fun Thursday night here. A couple gentlemen here that I've gotten to know through YouTube, jumping in live chats. You know, a couple of them been on live streams on their channel before, but really excited to do this. So I'm excited to have people jumping in here and just kind of go with the flow, see what happens tonight with the chat. We're going to be talking about movies, maybe music, collecting, just wherever. We'll see where it goes. But like I said, three people here that really excited to be talking to, and I am going to hit a couple things here, and we're gonna start bringing some people out. So first, right off the bat, I'll have to bring him out first because he's the first one waiting for me, even though I was a little bit late for my normal time. But we got Texas in here that jumped in first. How we doing, Texas?
I'm I'm just elated to actually be here doing this, man. It's a huge honor,
Well,
you know.
I appreciate that. That's a huge compliment. I appreciate you saying that. I don't know if that's. I had a huge compliment being able to jump on with you and Sean doing a watch along. So, um, definitely fun to do. But like I said, so since I hit a couple here, the next one in, we'll go with Juno. We got Juno that jumped in next when I was hanging out here. Juno, how's it going tonight?
Doing good.
Doing good,
Hey
man.
there, everybody. Juno
Yeah.
Falcon. Yep.
Very. And then last but not least, we got Sean, Cinephile Sanity. What's going on, man?
Hey, how's it going, Corey? Definitely excited for this tonight. But yeah, thank you very much for having us on.
No, I appreciate it. Like I was just saying earlier, talking about Texas when I brought him out, it was a lot of fun hanging out with the two of you when we did our watch along for Green Room, and I appreciate you having me on for that. And first time watch for me, and that was something that was pretty exciting. I ended up really liking it, and that was a good excuse. I had that movie sitting in my collection for a little bit and never got around to watch it. So sometimes it takes something like that to kick you in the rear and get you to watch it.
Yeah, I definitely still have plenty of movies in my collection that are like that, and
Yeah.
eventually, somebody will have something like that, like a stream. Like it just gives you a good excuse to get to it sooner than later. But
Yeah.
yeah, but that's it's great that you were able to join us for that because that was the 100th watch party on the channel that night, and yeah, everything worked out well.
Well, I didn't even know I was hitting a milestone like that. That's quite a few. 100, man.
Yeah, it's like every weekend we're doing something, and I'm just glad that since we started doing this, that I was able to get Texas and Juno and up with their channels and streaming.
Yeah.
I think that's like the biggest accomplishment for me out of everything. Really, it's like, all right, I got them two streaming now because I really didn't think that would happen for some reason. I don't know
Well,
why, but I can't tell you. I don't know. It's just, they're just Juno and Texas to me are just pretty laid back dudes. They just like doing what's going on with my channel. But
yeah.
once they were interested with, getting their own StreamYard accounts and everything, I was like, all right, yeah, let's do this, man.
I was the same way too, though. It took me a long time I set up my account and was like, oh, I'm going to go. And then like months later, I never did anything with it. And then it took some friends like you with them to be like, hey, if you're having fun with it, try it out, get out there, and that little gentle nudge to try it out. And so I know I had some people in my corner doing that to me, and I appreciated it, and that's cool. Yeah. Yeah. So now we got Texas and Juno jumping out there and putting out content, and that was very cool. Well, I tell you what, I'm going to run through just real quick. I appreciate you all being here. I'm trying to do the fun balance of talking with you all and people in the chat. We got some people jumping in here saying hellos and everything. I might run through that real quick, and I'll try to do a good balance with that. I don't always do a great job of doing that balancing act, but we'll see what we have going on here. But got James in here saying good evening, everyone. Thank you for jumping in here. Oh, Jimmy, there we go. Texas saying hello to Jimmy there, saying hi to Tex. We got Johnny in here saying what's up, cool kids. Thanks, Johnny. The Hatchet Boys. Hey, James and Tex. Moonbeam, what's going on? Saying hello, people. I'm seeing some good names that pop up in your live or your watch alongs, so it's kind of cool to see that. So Texas saying hi to Johnny, hi to Rich, saying hi to Moonbeam and P Rich and Johnny. Alan, what's going on? Saying good evening, y'all. Nikki, what's going on? My honorary mom, I'll always say. But hello, fellas. Corey, Sean, Tex, and Juno. Hope you're all having a great night. So far, it's been pretty good. Hopefully, I don't ruin it for everybody, but we'll see. We'll see.
That's going to be me.
We'll take turns ruining it. So how about we do that? Saying hi back and forth. I love it. That's why I always like doing these live streams. Everybody saying hi to each other. Hey, Mr. Toast. Fired up, James is saying.
Yeah,
Zodiac in here saying, what's up, what's up?
as in Texas toast. That's
Texas. Yeah. Oh, okay. I gotcha. Say hi to Zodiac, Nikki. Sorry. Like I said, I'm trying to get better at running through the chat and hanging out with everybody, but we'll try to do a hello to everybody quick, and then we'll kind of go back and forth. Saying a lot of highs back and forth. Love seeing, hey, Holland, what's going on? Saying, hey, Wilkman. Unplugged, what's going on? Saying hello from the UK. You said unplugged, and I almost said the UK, but UK. There we go. Saying hi to Sean. Ludo Cabrera Production saying, hey, Tex. Saying hi. Like I said, I'm a little slow going through all these, but thank you for dealing with me for just a second.
Most of the time, I can't even get to the whole chat on my screen.
It's tough. It's tough. It's tough.
Like I'd say on average, like I probably get like 10 to 15 people in the chat, but like I kind of get, I don't know what that's coming from. Audio feedback. But like, yeah, I don't really like, I wouldn't say I get like a bunch of people, but sometimes I get started late with getting to the comments, and then I'm like far behind, and I usually just can't get to the end by the time 2 hours is up. But yeah, go ahead, continue.
Oh yeah, no, that's where I'm sorry. I'm still working those kinks out, doing that. But I like saying hi to everybody. But yeah, it's a balancing act for sure. But I definitely want to say hi to Rosalia, somebody I met through your live streams. So with your watch alongs. So Rosalia, thanks for jumping in here, saying what's up. Saying hi to Johnny. Highs back and forth. I might try to jump through some of those. If I miss your comment, I apologize. I'm not meaning to. If you can repeat it, if you have something I missed, if you have a question for somebody or a comment I miss, it's not on purpose, but just let me know. But I've been waiting all week to see all 4 of my favorite fellas back in town. There you go. Oh, Nikki said it right there. Saying hi to Sean. Got Chrissy, the slasher dude, in here saying evening, everyone. Hall Notes saying glad you 3 could join the Titanic, the musical sing along. I don't think we're doing that tonight. That might not be tonight. Okay, I'm skipping through some. Got Gizmo in here saying hello, my ho 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 Santa baby, Mr. Juno, Juggalo 2000, Love Machine, and Sean the darling, and of course Crazy Corey, we'll just say that, and good morning from 3 dogs that are keeping him busy. Good to have you in here, Gizmo. That's life, but not as we know it. William, how are you doing? Saying good morning. Yep, good morning for you. Saying Chris. Everybody saying hi back and forth to each other. I'm going to run through these. If I miss anybody, like I said, throw it back out there. It's not on purpose. I'm just kind of trying to run through here, keep track of our time. Prince is saying questions will come later, Corey. You know the trademark question. Yep, you can do it. You can drop that. I'll try to watch for it. We got Jeff in here, John Doe Juggalo, saying good evening, my friends. A lot of highs back and forth that I'm going past. Don't mean anything by that, but I know this is a thing you guys all have going on. We got Rosalie in here jumping in saying, I know that's an ongoing thing that you have with your watch alongs, but
yeah, like quite a few of them got that started, and it just kind of became a thing. And like I remember it was like a month ago. I was like, all right, guys, we're gonna have to like stop focusing on all that so much. And then I was like, I just kept riding with it. I was like, you know what, this shit's too fun, man. I just,
yeah, if they're having
oh yeah,
fun.
I gotta watch my mouth tonight. I gotta watch the F-bombs and all that.
Be yourself. It's okay. I know. I like don't feel like you gotta bring
See,
it back
honestly,
too much.
that's one of the reasons why I like you, Corey. Like little things like that don't get to you. You allow
No.
people to be who they are to an extent too. You know, I know that, but that's one of the reasons why I really feel like I'm interacting with a human being when I talk to you and stuff. Like,
I appreciate that. So that's why I always say to people, I think some people jump on and they feel nervous about that just because I don't. Okay, I don't cuss a lot. I do cuss though, so that might surprise people. I do. If you cuss, I've heard the words before, and it will not shock me to my bone and like tear me down. Like I can survive it. So don't. But yes, you can go to a limit that where I'm like, we gotta bring it back. But that being said, be yourselves, hang out, have fun. If you drop an F-bomb, it's not going to be the end of the world. Just because I don't say it, that does not wreck my world if somebody else says it either.
Well, we all agreed that since we were going to do this, we were going to be on our best behavior. So, and it's.
Well, we had Anthony in here jumping in saying, "What's up, everybody? Look at all those badasses talking about words, right there, badasses, right there." So we got that. Okay, I'm gonna run through here really quick. I just at least want to say hi to anybody that's jumped in that I have not talked to yet. I think I'm hitting most everybody. James Vanderson saying, "Hey, Chester." All right. I think I'm going to put a pin in that. I'll come back to the chat because I want to make sure to talk to y'all. So anyway, now that you're comfortable knowing that I'm not going to completely censor you, you can hang out, have fun, within a reasonable limit. We'll say that. But I always think it's funny that people come on and be like, "Oh, I can't say that word on Corey's channel," and I'm like, no, it doesn't mean you can't. Just because I don't say it a lot doesn't mean you can't. But you won't. I've heard the words before, so you're all good. But no, jumping into it. Thanks all three of you for being on here. I know I jumped in and ran into a lot of you doing your watch alongs, and the three of you, and then mixing in other people too. So I guess right off the bat, how did the three of you get connected up to start doing watch alongs?
I guess I'll go first, but I hit 1K on my channel and I wasn't really doing any streams. I wasn't really I wasn't really a big fan of streaming, really, at least doing it myself. Like I would jump in other people's chats from time to time. And I actually started to notice from jumping in chats that it's like, yeah, my subscriber count seems to go up the more I jump into these chats. So I was like, why don't we do that more often? It's really, besides the subscribers and all that, it's actually pretty fun. But once my channel hit 1K, I did a 1K celebration stream. And then, I saw other people doing watch parties. I'll say that, I'm not one to claim that I started doing these. There's so many people that do watch parties.
Oh, everybody does. But you can put your own spin on it, though. Yeah.
Right. There's, everyone's got a certain way of doing things and all that. But I started doing streams and, I wasn't really too comfortable with doing it by myself. So I started, you're doing streams by myself, and then Juno was subscribed to my channel, and he would be in the chat, and I was like, I don't know how much longer I'm going to be doing streams like this because I don't really like doing it by myself, and plus, some of those streams early on, like people were telling me like, yeah, I'll join you for a stream. And they just kept bailing out on me.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
that was aggravating me too.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know how much longer I'm going to keep doing this. And then I dropped the link down in the chat, and Juno was like the one that was willing to join me on the panel.
Nice.
And we started doing it. And then next, you know it, he's joining me like every weekend for like over like 6 months. And then Texas started popping up in the chats probably about sometime last summer, somewhere around there. And then eventually, I forget what it was, if he asked me or if I asked him to join me, but it was around Christmas time last year when Texas started joining me on the panel with Juno. And you know, actually, you know what's crazy? The crazy part with Texas is he hasn't missed a beat. He hasn't missed a day since Christmas time last year. There hasn't been a stream where he's like, you know, I can't make it tonight. Like, he's been there 100%. And, you know, Juno's been there a lot too. And, you know, Juno's got, you know, we all got our own things going on. And,
oh, yeah, there's always
Juno's, you know, he's got to take some time to himself sometimes. He can't always make every stream, but
for real. Yeah.
But the both of them have really just like, I can't ask for any more from the both of them, really. Like, they've been very supportive with joining me for these streams.
Well, I was going to say, the three of you get along really well on those. And that's the one thing that I've been jumping in. And when I was watching them, sometimes I'll admit there's a lot of live streams I'm listening kind of along in the background. I'm the lurker, you know, and not chatting a lot. But, you know, sometimes I try to get in there and say hi to everybody. But that's one thing. It seems like the three of you work well together. And I'll say that. It's really cool. So maybe I can do around the horn question for people. And like I said, no question's ever meant to be a stumper. So if it's something, many times I've been on live streams, even my own, where a question comes up and it comes back to me and I don't have an answer for it. So if you ever want to pass, just be like, maybe we'll come back to that. Whether we do or not, that is totally cool. It's meant to just be fun, hang out, and not to be like a stressful, like, oh, I got to come up with an answer or something like that. So don't worry about that at all. But one thing I was thinking about with all the live streams, the watch alongs that the three of you have done together, I'm kind of curious with each of you, if you have a genre of movie that you have more fun doing watch alongs with or not. And I can let anybody like run out there and be the first one, or if you want to pass, totally cool. But you know, you got horror, you got action, you got comedy, you got whatever. If there's any that kind of jump out to you that you have more fun doing watch alongs with.
Well, I guess I'll go for that one first. I don't, you know, my thing is that, you know, I grew up, you know, during the 70s and nobody remembers the 70s because it's just like a plane of existence that, you know, basically, I guess I was the only one that was there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I feel like sometimes, you know, I feel like, well, you know, because, you know, I tell people, well, I saw that in the theater. They're like, what? You did? You know, kind of.
I've had that before too.
You know, and so it's kind of, you know, it's like, I don't know, because sometimes I feel like, wow, you know, how did I get here? You know, is this somebody, you know, kidnap me and bring me to this other, you know, time period? But, you know, truthfully though, just growing up, you know, I always, you know, it was just, you know, film was something that I related to because, you know, I used to try to go to movies when I could. And then when I was, you know, starting to be a teenager, you know, I was always like dropped off at the theater or something by myself. And, you know, and I mean, it was fun back then. I mean, now I prefer, you know, hanging out with, you know, somebody.
Sure.
But, you know, when you're a kid, you kind of have that sort of like freedom, like, hey, you know, I can, you know, kind of make a nuisance of myself, not too much so I don't get kicked out, you know. But I don't know, there's always something that, you know, I liked all sorts of things, and then I would be reading, you know, different books about, you know, movies and people's takes on them when I was younger. And there's a series of books, and I recommend these to anybody, called Cult Movies by Danny Perry. And he's also written baseball books, if the name sounds familiar. But I really, that was something to me. When I read that book, I discovered, all sorts of, movies like that I really, a lot I'd never heard of, things I had heard of that I'd never seen. And I decided, from that point, like, wow, I really want to, see these, movies and whatnot. And he just basically covered every genre there was at the time, because the first one came out in like, around in 1980, maybe 79, something like that. And that's pretty much how I just, I mean, that even increased my love for film, I guess. And so I pretty much like to do obscure things that, people haven't heard of, or if they have, they haven't seen them in a long time and things like that. Because when I first joined the panel with Sean and Juno, I mean, I'd be telling Sean, "You ever see this?" "No, I've never heard of it," or this and that. And he goes, and he'll look them up and he'll be like, "Man, that's interesting." And I'm just like, and I like that because I can pass that torch of, my love for film onto, people that have the same, ideals and love film, but they, something that they, has bypassed them, they get to see it. So that's really what I'll go for. I'm gonna go for a full on, like genre, but just things that are, obscure, and things like that.
I'll say that's one thing. Great answer. I'm going to say that's why I love having so many people I've met through this whole weird, crazy YouTube thing and Instagram or whatever. That having people you connect with on all different age groups and different walks of life, that there's movies that they love that you just have never come across before in your entire life. And they throw that out and be like, "Hey, you should check this out." Maybe it hits, maybe it doesn't, but man, there's sometimes that some hit and you're just like, "I've never heard of that. I've never come across it. And I never would have heard of it if you would not have told me about that," and that's kind of it's a cool thing, a cool connection you can have with people on this.
Yeah, I think that just that aspect right there is one of the reasons why I'm still on here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like being like, I my channel was officially started in like 2014. I didn't really
Oh,
officially start the channel till 2018 though. Like I lurked throughout those years really. But like, just finding out about certain releases and new movies that could be old, but new to me really,
right.
it's
Right.
like newer releases just without being a part of this.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have certain things in my collection. I wouldn't know about certain movies and with what Texas was just talking about, like early on his channel, like I wasn't too thrilled with doing watch parties for movies that I'm not familiar with. So I can't really like elaborate on the movie that well. It's just how
If
I
you're taking
am.
it in
But
for the first time. Yeah.
yeah, it's just a little tough for me. But now like I'm getting used to it and I'm also learning from that. Like I'm learning from him. I'm finding out about stuff that I'm not familiar with. And now I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, just shut up and do it. Just give it a shot. Just shut up and open your mind and, just be a part of
just,
something. Give it a
just
shot.
hit live and just go with it, man.
Yeah, yeah. So now it's like, like, yeah, I should have just shut up from the beginning. Not it's like a big deal or anything, but just a little out of like what I'm used to doing. But now I'm
Oh
like, all
yeah.
right, this is normal to me now. It's, just shut up, take it in. If I have nothing to elaborate really on the movie, whatever, at least I'm
Yeah.
learning something here. I'm taking something from this.
I think anybody that says they have not been in that situation before is lying. I think if that spot of just like, just shut up and just do it, like just have fun and hang out and do it, like God, I know I've been there like many times. Like don't overthink it, just shut up and have fun and hang out with them and go with it. But so Sean, do you have a genre that you have had more fun? Doesn't mean you hate the other ones, but do you have a genre that you kind of have more fun doing watch alongs with?
I mean, I think if you look at like the past streams, you could tell that I like horror
Yeah,
movies.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
yeah, it's horror really is my number one genre. But
yeah,
I'm very open to most genres really. Like I'm not big on like the drama romance really. I
yeah,
can watch some of those movies. They're just not really things that I have in my collection. Like I like comedies too, but that's not really like a big section that I have in my collection
yeah,
either. But it is mostly horror movies, action films, horror comedies, subgenres, exploitation films, just a lot of stuff like that, really, like revenge thrillers, like that's really like the action genre, like stuff
yeah,
like that. But I just feel like, like I've come across some people throughout this community that are strictly just horror movies, and I can't
yeah.
live with this horror. And
You got
like to me, like, it's like we have October coming up soon. I'm gonna be watching horror movies every day. But every year I do that, when I get to the 31st, I'm like kind of glad it's over. I can give these horror movies a break and get to some other genres now.
Well, I even did that where, and I loved doing it again, but I did a stream with Anthony. He was in here earlier, Anthony's Horror More, and we were doing, I rewatched, and he did too, all the Friday the 13th movies, and we did kind of a ranking of those. Love them, have so much fun with them, but like halfway through, I was like, I had to have that like palate cleanser, like I was like, I just got to watch something completely different. And so I put in The Wedding Singer or something like that, like where it's just something completely different to watch. But so definitely horror on that one. But Juno, what do you think, man? With the watch alongs, even if it's one or two different type of genres, do you have anything that you kind of have more fun doing the watch alongs with?
Yeah, like when we do watch-alongs, I love watching the horror movies, but
Yeah.
I like rewatching the action movies that we were
Yeah.
watching during the summer, especially when we rewatched the Rambo
Oh,
and the John Wick franchise back to back
yeah.
as like from equal to a sequel to another.
Oh, yeah.
It was like a great combination of awesome action packed summer throughout because like I know like summer is meant for like the summer horror, but you also have like the summer action
Oh, yeah.
blockbuster that's always around because like
Yeah,
seeing all these
I
action movies
feel
are
like
just so amazing to watch.
Yep.
yeah, I
The summer
generally
action's
will watch.
awesome.
Like I feel like I'm kind of like I don't know if this is a real thing or not, but like I'm more of like when I go through my collection, my movies, like I'm kind of like an in season person. Where like if it's like, let's say like a movie like John Carpenter's The Thing, I generally watch that in the wintertime because of what's going on in the movie with the
Right.
atmosphere. Like a lot of people will watch that during like the Halloween season. I usually wait to watch that to the winter time. But like with action movies, I enjoy them a little bit more during the summertime. I will lean a little bit more towards action movies in the summertime, and like horror movies, I might lean a little bit more towards like slasher movies. Really, it's just something I've done over the years, and then like another thing I kind of started doing a couple years ago is when I have trouble trying to figure out what to watch. I go on my phone and I start looking at release dates,
Hmm.
seeing when movies were released, and like, all right, what was released today, all these years ago? And
Yeah.
I'll see something, I'll be like, all right, that's something I haven't
Yeah,
watched in a while. Let's take that off the shelf and stop
yeah,
staring at the collection for 3 hours trying to figure out what to watch.
Yeah. No,
yeah.
definitely. And yeah, Juno, like jumping into that too, I completely agree. At least back when I was growing up,
Even
that was always such a big thing, having the summer blockbuster action movie coming out. So summer and action movies to me, that's a good recipe right there. I always have a good
yeah,
time
and
with that.
also when they even mix that material with sci-fi or horror, that's like that gives it like a new factor to it.
Oh yeah.
When you see those during like the 80s into the 2000s, like that just gives it like an extra flavor of
Oh yeah.
amazing filmmaking right there.
Absolutely. No, I completely agree with that for sure. Um, Diving in, I mean, still not digging into the watch alongs, I mean, too much, but, and this could be another one. Each of you can chime in and give your thoughts on it. But have you had any watch alongs So Green Room, like I'll just throw out there when I jumped on with Texas and Sean, that was a first time watch for me for Green Room. I had it in my collection, but I'd never seen it. I had a good time watching it. But have you, any of you, during one of your watch alongs, have you watched one that was a first time watch that surprised you? Either it was a lot better than you were expecting or a lot worse than you were expecting, you know? And if you don't have one, that's cool. We can just keep on rolling. But I don't know if you have any that kind of come to mind that just kind of was different than your expectations, either better or worse.
Yeah, I'm like I'm just like looking at past ones right now because there isn't a lot of first time watches on here. I
Okay,
remember
so a
we
lot of
did,
okay.
there was one that Juno recommended for Nefarious.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
I ended up enjoying that one. I just wasn't too thrilled with the final act and the logic of it, really. But I thought that was pretty good, especially for a movie that's like, it's basically just like, it mainly focuses on two characters just exchanging dialogue. And it doesn't really leave, like, it's like takes place in a prison. It kind of doesn't leave its confined area where it's filmed at for quite a while. But it's a great exchange between, Sean Patrick Flannery and I forget the other guy's name that's in the movie, but
Yeah, definitely a one location type film. Yep.
yeah, but just like looking at previous streams and stuff.
I think there would be more on mine that you hadn't seen than on yours, you know. But I'd say lately, one of the ones he did that he showed, Bug, I'd never really seen that, just seen scenes from it. And that one I liked a lot better than I thought I would, although it is a strange movie, though. But yeah, I thought it was all right, you know.
Juno, you have any jump out at
Yeah,
you?
for the watch parties that we've been doing, the one that because I know I did for we did with Sean and Texas Channel. Like for Sean, the one movie I actually was surprised was the Forsaken movie with um, with the guy from Final Destination, which
Mm.
is a vampire flick. I was actually impressed by that movie of how pretty good it was because I never saw that movie and seeing it for like the first time. I actually really enjoyed that one, and it was like one of those forgotten ones that never really got talked about. And
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, that is
I
another
really
one.
enjoyed my. Yeah,
Yeah, that's another one I forgot that was a
yep.
first time watch for me. But yeah, that's definitely one that goes under the radar. Like it's hard to say why, but I think that movie's good enough for a 7 out of 10 though. But like,
Yeah,
I
and
mean, to
also
like
for
really like
Texas
answer
Channel.
that
Yeah,
question like real quick, like I know on
yeah,
Texas's channel, like compared to mine, like I know we did watch parties for Over the Edge and Suburbia. Like those right there, like if I like let's say if I discovered those on my own without text, like I'd still feel the same way about that. Like those were I'm really glad that he decided to mention those movies because that once I saw them and was, familiar with it, I was like, I gotta buy Blu-rays for that. Like I went out and bought the Blu-rays and everything. Like that just, that should tell someone right there, like, all right, well, they bought the movie, like
Right.
they have to
Right.
like it, whether they're telling me that or not. But definitely
yep.
doing watch parties for it's like the 45th anniversary for Over the Edge, which is like a coming of age drama film, and Suburbia, which is like more of like a punk rock theme kind of movie, which is still a coming of age movie too. But yeah, those are two new movies for me that I got to see this year, and I'm glad I have in my collection, and I'm glad that I know about these movies now.
Yeah. I'll tell you
And
what, I'm going to jump
also
in the
for
chat.
Texas
Oh, go
Channel.
ahead. Sorry, Juno. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's just
No, you're good.
the video delayed a little bit.
Yeah.
It kind of delayed. I couldn't like. Think.
Yeah, go for it, man.
Can you
You're
hear
good.
me?
Yep,
Yeah.
I can hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, on Texas chat. Yeah, on I did we did the watch party for The Tingler with Vincent Price, and that was a black and white B horror movie that's been out there, like all those old school horror movies, black and white. That one actually really impressed me because I actually grew up watching those kind of movies, and those are the kind of movies that nobody doesn't really talk about
Hmm.
because people at my age they would just say those.
Oh man.
There's a connection with him right now.
That's right. We can hang out for a second, but hopefully he'll come back on here. Yeah, it's where it's the love and hate relationship with technology. You know, you love all the stuff you
Yeah,
can do, but tomorrow we could do this all again, and I'd be the one that's clocking, you know, or whatever. But oh, did he
yeah,
just come on?
that's the part that's out of our control is
Oh,
technology.
hang on a second here. There you are, man.
There he is.
Sorry, man, you cut out there a little bit. Can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me, guys?
Yeah.
I can hear you. Yep.
Yeah.
So what were you saying?
Yeah,
Sorry, you cut
sorry,
out
it's
there.
just yeah. I was just saying about the stream where we did with the Tingler with Vincent Price. I was really impressed how unique the movie was because people at my age don't really appreciate black and white movies because
Sure.
immediately they will just say that stuff is boring. But I grew up watching those kind of movies, and I actually grew up watching all like the Universal monsters, the Blob, Teenage Werewolf, and Teenage Frankenstein, and those the creature from Phantom 5000, all those old school movies that are creature feature films. Like those were just movies that I my dad would put on, and I never
Yeah.
found boring to watch. But when we watched Tingler, it was actually pretty badass when we saw like the blood from the tub turning red in a black and white movie,
Right.
and it was like this cool formation into like a black and white color of red from the blood that's pouring out of the tub. Like that part was trippy to me, and
Oh, for
I
sure.
actually really enjoyed the Tingler, and I thank Texas for showing that movie.
Oh man, you're more than welcome.
What was the
It's
name
like
of that movie again?
the Tingler.
The Tingler.
Yeah, Vincent Price
Yeah, the
movie.
Tingler.
But one thing I
Yeah,
definitely
Vincent
like that
Price.
Texas is doing with his channel right now. Well, basically what he's doing is like I know when he first started streaming, like one of the things he said to me was, I want to do movies that know what he's really focusing on.
Yeah, sure.
And he's been picking his movies, and like last night we did a double feature, and that was two movies that I've seen before, which was Foxy Brown and Coffee. But like that was really only like the second or third time that I did a stream where I was like, oh, I actually seen this before. But it's I like what he's doing though. He's doing what he wants to do. He's not doing anything that's inspired or influenced from anyone else. He's doing what he wants to do, and he's getting good response from it too. I think he's always got at least double digits and people in the chat, and
That's cool.
it's the funny thing is like I think he's at like 170 right now, and to me subs really don't matter. It's not numbers are not what it's all about, but I just think it's crazy sometimes how he has a low amount of subscribers, but he'll get good numbers throughout a stream, the views,
That's the
all that stuff.
no, that's the thing. I've noticed that following so many different people, and I think I would rather have that. I've seen people with what you might think is relatively small subscriber count, but you have an active chat. You have people jumping in there talking, and I've seen people with like a fraction of the sub count have way more in a live stream for them than somebody that has like multiple times more subscribers going live. It's kind of crazy, but I agree. I would rather have. Yeah, we would all love probably high subscriber, high activity, but I'd rather if you had to choose between the two, I'd rather have a small subscriber count and an active, really invested community, people that are wanting to hang out with you and talk to you, and are active in your live streams than the opposite. So that's a cool thing to have, for sure.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, highly agree with that.
Yes.
I'm going to run through the chat just real quick again. I know I fell way behind. Everybody, I'm going to probably skip by a lot of the highs back and forth. If I miss you, like I said, it's not on purpose. Just kind of say hey or put it in there again. But we have 71 in here saying hey to everybody. Thanks for jumping in here. Like I said, I'm skipping past a lot of the highs back and forth. Trying to do better at that and not miss somebody that's saying hi for the first time, because I at least want to say hello. Rosalia saying Stream Warriors. There we go. Going back and forth here. 71 saying Texas is dedicated to the horror cause. There you go. Saying hi back and forth. We got some CWOs in here. There we go. Got a few of them. There we go. CWO. We got Kevin in here, movie collector maniac, saying, "Hey Corey, panel and chat. Thanks for jumping in here. If you're still in here, I know I fall behind on the chat a little bit." Tiana saying, "Look at this amazing panel tonight. You guys rock." Thank you, Tiana.
Thank you.
Like I said, I'm trying to just kind of hurry along here just to keep things rolling, but I'm skipping past a couple in here. Not on purpose, but we'll just keep going through some of them. Wow, you guys are awesome. Everybody's in here, jumping in here a lot. A lot of these, like I said, I'm going past because it's a lot of highs back and forth, but I love seeing it for sure. James was saying, I watched Night of the Living Dead after I hand out candy on Halloween night. There you go. Gotta have your traditions. Moonbeam was saying, I usually end up rewatching favorites instead of braving movies in my collection that I have not seen yet. It's easy to do that. Yeah, for sure. I think we all have those movies that you just know you like and you just want to sit down and watch something, and it's easy to go back to them.
Yeah. Been there plenty of times.
Wow. You guys are a lot of highs back and forth. Like I said, if I miss anybody's like question for us or anything like that, it's not on purpose. Just trying to keep going through here, see if I got anybody that said hi, like right here. We got Huck in here. Huck's Pop Culture Cafe saying, hey gang, cooking dinner and watching you guys. Thank you, Huck. I appreciate it. I'm going to probably put a little bit of a pin in that one. All right. Maybe it's going to be another tough question. I'm not meaning it for it to be. So if you want to pass, you don't have to answer it. But
you let me interject something, please?
Oh yeah, go for it, man.
I just wanted to say, because this is kind of talking about how I, like to throw things, show people different things and have people learn from me. But I mean, I the same is true. I learn, about movies from other people and music and stuff too. So I'm not, that much of a snob about things, but, so last Christmas, I sent Moonbeam a copy of It's a Wonderful Life, because that's actually my all-time favorite movie. And I did discover it in that book, Cult Movies. That's how I discovered it. And, over the years, I think it's become more popular than it was when it came out. But I remember the first time I saw it and I just was like, my God, this is exactly how he explained it in the book. This is just so spectacular. Well, so last Christmas, I sent Moonbeam a copy of it because, she said she had never seen it. And so she, so she sends me this comment and she said, like, I thought you were going to send me, she goes, I was really scared. She goes, because at first I thought you were going to send me some messed up, obscure, like French horror film, that I would probably never watch.
You had her on the edge of her seat, right?
Right.
No, it's funny. Well, that's what you never know. I honestly still get really nervous about recommending movies to people. Even if I know them pretty well. I don't know if you all feel like that at all or not, or if maybe I'm just being weird with it. But there's sometimes I'm like, I like that movie, but sometimes I'm hesitant to be like, oh, yeah, it's awesome, you should go watch it, because I know every movie can hit differently for different people. So I'd be curious with all three of you. Um, do you ever have any hesitate? Do you ever hesitate recommending movies to other people, or you're just like, yeah, I love it. If you don't, that's okay. Or you know what I'm saying? I'm being long winded with that one.
Never.
Sometimes I used to, but I got the hang of it when I got older.
That's
Which
cool.
is like when I was younger, I used to hesitate. I'll recommend people watch this movie because I was like worried that they're not gonna like it.
Yeah.
But when sometimes there were movies that were popular that I recommend, people would enjoy after a while,
Yeah.
and then some people would recommend some movies that I might not want to watch, but when I got myself to watch it without distraction, it invests me into the movie more.
Yeah.
So I was liking the movie, appreciating the film more.
So maybe a little bit at first, but as you got older, you felt like more confident, and I like this movie.
Yeah.
I'm confident recommending it, and I'm okay if you like it or don't like it, kind of
Yeah.
a thing. That's cool. Yeah.
Mhm.
Texas or Sean, you guys got anything?
You
Well,
want to
yeah,
go,
I
Ted?
mean, yeah, sure. I mean, like I said, I'm never afraid to recommend something. I mean, if somebody doesn't like it, that's cool. I mean, it's not like I'm gonna be, mad or whatever. I mean, I had this ex best friend, and you could never. I mean, it was like a cold day in hell if he actually liked something that I recommended, whether it be a restaurant or a movie or whatever, because normally he would just be like, "Oh, that was okay," and that was it. I mean, that was his general response for like anything, and and it just was like, I'm like, you're out of your mind. This is one of the greatest things ever made, because yeah, he and I'd have a problem with, because I mean, I wasn't expecting him to go, "Oh, that was great," but if I got it good, I was like, "Wait, what did you just say?"
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So no, I mean, I'm not at all. I mean, because to me, that's the point of, like I said, what I try to do. It's just sharing, just like anything. I mean, if you have a love and a passion for something, you share it. It doesn't matter who with or what. I mean, if you're friends with somebody, and they're your best friends, and that's one of the things too. I think Juno and Sean and I mean, to me, Moonbeam's probably going to get mad because I'm going to say this, but I kind of, you know, I was, for a while, I had been on somebody's channel, and I'm not saying who because they don't matter in the big scheme of things, because they're nothing. But I do have to get them credit for actually pushing me out uh, of their channel. And, you know, the door, as they say, one door closes, another one opens. And Sean inviting me, and it's been a great, and him and Juno, helping me get my channel together, and all the people that we've met through that. And I, and I'm forever grateful for that. I mean, I was like what I was going to say was I was like a
Same
stray
here.
dog that he picked up and said, "Hey, you want to come on and be on the channel?" She's not going to like that I said that, but I'm just kidding. So she, but
My
it was, I mean, it really, and 71 also, if it hadn't have been for her, I mean, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. And of course, Moonbeam gets a lot of credit for that too, you know. So, it's that's what it's all about. I mean, that's why I love your channel, because when I started watching what you were doing, and I'm just like, man, he's so thorough talking to these people, and I was
Thank
discovering
you.
like new channels, and stuff like that. And that's exactly what you're doing, and that's what
Thank
we're
you.
all doing. It's all good.
Yeah. No, thank you very much. That's a big compliment. And I'd say that I think all of us, we all have our strengths and we all have our weaknesses, and we have some good people around you. you can complement each other, because sometimes where your weaknesses might be somebody else's strength, that if you're teaming up with, like Juno and Sean here,
Yeah.
that's where you guys all can play off of each other and
Yeah.
work well together. So very
You know,
good.
it's funny, like you mentioned that, because like that's like another reason why I wasn't too comfortable with streaming by myself.
Yeah,
When you stream by yourself, it's like it's all on
it's
you to keep
different.
it interesting. Like when you have a co-host or one or two people, you got a legit reason to be carrying conversation, and before you know it, your time it's time to end the stream. Like
Yeah.
on average, our streams on my channel are about probably 2 hours.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
A lot of times now it's like, damn, we're already at the 155 mark.
Yeah.
Like it goes by
Yeah.
quick because we're having fun too.
Yeah. No, for sure.
But
I can see that. I've done both, and I still do both, like by myself and with other people. But I can see that it's nice to have somebody else, one or multiple people, to bounce things off of, to have a conversation with. Or, if you have like a mental block in the middle of a stream, if you have one or two other people on there, somebody else is going to jump in and start talking, or something like that. And it's nice to have that where you help each other out with
Yeah.
it.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I guess to answer that question,
Yeah.
um, what the hell's the question again? My God. Wait, what were we? Wait, I'm sorry. I'm just like totally like, what was the question again?
Well, I think, what was the last one we were just talking about? Like if there was anybody that's really surprised you, or maybe I'm even off now too. I'm trying to keep track of.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm like, what the hell? Or no, what we were just talking about? What the fuck, dude? I'm completely like blank right now. I don't know what the hell we were just
I
talking
am too. Honestly, live streams are crazy with this. I'll do this all the time where I'm like, oh, I got everything planned out. This is what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to do this and that. But by the time I'm looking at, whoever I got on the screen and talking to and trying to follow the chat, I can forget my own name. At some point in the live stream, because there's just so much your brain can take sometimes, and it kind of goes from there. But well, I tell you what, just because I'm even blanking on that too. How about this? Another hypothetical. How about we can switch, and we'll start with you, Sean, with this. If you could have any director or actor, actress, dead or alive, that you could do a watch along with of their film, is there any you'd be like, I'd want to sit next to them, do a watch along, and talk to them through their movie? And I know
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
throwing out hardballs tonight, so
I
sorry.
think there could be quite a few, and I'd be like, yeah, I'd like to sit down with this, this legendary person. But
Yeah.
I think one that stands out for me really, who I think probably goes underappreciated. It's people do like this director and his movies, but I just feel like a lot of people just don't even have him in like their top 5 or top 10 sometimes. Really, just based on not hearing them mention his name as like a top director. But one of my favorite movies of all time is Blade Runner. I would love to
Oh.
sit down with Ridley Scott and just pick that movie apart with him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's definitely one of the big ones for me. And I could sit down with him and really, pick apart any of his movies. Like he really is a top tier director for me, to where like I like almost everything in his filmography. And usually every director, when I look at their filmographies, there's at least like 5, 6, maybe even going more than that, to where 5, 6 movies or whatever that I just don't really like. And I feel like every director's got their masterpieces, their mediocre movies, their movies that did well, and then they got their turds.
Yeah.
Everybody's really
Yeah.
got them. But for me, Ridley Scott's a damn near perfect director. He's got some bad movies, that's for sure. But overall, I feel like he's close to being 100% flawless at what he does.
Oh, that'd be a great one for sure. Texas or Juno, either you got one you want to throw out there?
Go for it, Juno.
If you don't, don't worry about
For
it.
a director for Well, for a director, for me, I would have to go with even though he's not with us today.
Yeah.
I would like to do a watch party with Wes Craven
Oh, nice.
when he was still alive,
Nice. Is there a
because
particular movie
I
you would
was a
like?
big fan of. I would like to do a watch party for his People on the Stairs movie, because that
Oh,
was like
okay.
one of my personal favorites watching as a kid on
That's a good one.
VHS, and being entertained by the story that he had made on the movie, and how he brought the characters to like be terrifying but funny at the same time, which
Yeah.
was a great mixture of horror and comedy. And I liked how that movie just plays off like funny moments, but back to a scary, serious movie.
Yeah.
And I feel like some new horror movies are kind of missing that in some of them, but not all of them. But I just would love to do a Wi-Fi with Wes Craven and talk about his masterpiece.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be a great one. And I agree with you completely. That one definitely does some big shifts in in the feel of the movie, you know, as you're going. But yeah, that absolutely that'd be a great one for sure.
So
Texas, what
I'm just going to say real quick. I rewinded the stream real quick, and you were
oh,
talking
the
about
question I forgot
recommending
about.
movies. Yeah, like I'll just answer it real quick, like just so we can get to Texas. But oh yeah, it was recommending movies. But when I first started my channel on here, I wasn't really too comfortable with it. But the more I started hearing other people recommending movies, it kind of opened me up to it. So I figured out that for me, the best way to recommend movies is to always tell people to see it for free first before spending money
No,
on it.
yeah.
Because I would hate to see you spend money on something and be like, "What the fuck was this?" Oh shit! There goes the F bomb. But like
All right,
it's
that's the end of the night.
yeah.
Thanks for everybody for joining us. We're gonna have to stop the stream. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
But yeah, for the most part, I always try to make sure to like try to watch it online for free first. Like
Yeah.
I think you'll like the movie, but don't go spending money on it. But yeah, that would be my response to that.
Free is good. Yeah. Even if you know there's a Blu-ray or 4K that's going to be way better visually than what you see free, free is good. It can save you some money if it's not one you think you'd ever revisit again, for sure. But,
That's kind of how I am at this point. Like, like a lot of new movies that come out, I can't get to the theater for everything, so I will go on the Look Movie site as soon as they got a new movie up there, and that'll tell me if I like the movie and if it's worth owning. Going
yeah.
from there on.
Yep. Texas, well, you had some time to think here. Do you have anybody?
Yeah, for me actually, um, it would probably be Toby Hooper,
Oh, nice.
and I would talk to him about Texas Chainsaw Massacre and probably the Funhouse as well,
Yeah.
because I think those two movies are really his masterpieces and whatnot. You know, and also, I mean, I'd actually like to meet James Wan and talk to him about like Death Sentence, because I love that movie with Kevin Bacon and stuff, and that's a kind of a hard watch sometimes, but it's a
Oh,
really
absolutely. But give
good,
me the
good
Blu-ray or
yeah.
4K. But like I got
Yeah.
the DVD, but yeah, it's kind of stuck on that right now.
It's funny you mentioned Toby Hooper because honestly, like I would love to talk to him about those movies you just mentioned, but I would actually like to hear his 100% truthful experience between working on Salem's Lot and Poltergeist. Because like I don't know if you guys are familiar with like the whole thing with Poltergeist, but like it's like people still can't figure out to this day if it was Spielberg that directed it or was
Mm,
it Hooper. And I don't think we're ever going to find that out.
mm.
So, like, that would be one thing I would like to sit down and be like, so, were you in the director's chair for Poltergeist?
Is that kind of like with somebody was just I think there was an article somebody just sent me too. A similar thing with Nightmare Before Christmas. Isn't that the similar thing with Tim Burton and oh gosh,
Yeah, it's
I'm gonna sound silly. I can't remember the name now, but I think it was a similar situation of whose movie is it, kind of a thing. I ended up
yeah.
blanking on it,
If I
but
remember correctly, with Nightmare Before Christmas, it was something that Tim Burton was working on in his free time and
but
coming up as
then
a filmmaker.
I think there was some conversation of who's a producer and who's a director on that movie, kind of a thing. But
Yeah.
I'll have to look that up. We'll have to see that. But um, I'm gonna hit the chat just real quick again here, real quick. Kevin was saying, who's gonna get hammered by this hurricane? Expected to be in my area at 4 a.m. or so in Georgia. I'm way further in, man. So not me, but I hope you stay safe, and anybody that's in the path of it, stay safe and be smart about things. So hope you're all good. I don't know if y'all are in the path of that, but hopefully not. But Rosalia saying you can miss my comments. No, Rosalia. I don't
I
want to
read
miss your
that.
comment. I don't want to miss your comments. It's not on purpose. I'm just I only can have my brain process so many things at a time, and then I have problems. But
It's one of the best things about Rose is she just simply knows how to have fun and be herself.
oh,
So I
absolutely.
wish there was more people like her in the world.
Nope, absolutely, absolutely. You got to just hang out and do that. Got laughs from Chester. I know I'm missing a lot of people, but just going by the highs. And Nick B is in here saying, down here watching y'all in the hurricane. Well, be safe, man. For sure. I hope you're all good. Hopefully it's not as bad as they're thinking, but
Yeah, would be nice to hear, a later time, like, it kind of just blew over, didn't really hit that hard. That would be nice to hear.
yeah. I always love those storms. I'm in the Midwest. We always got a lot of tornadoes. And so those are always the good times where they're just like, that wasn't as bad as what we thought it was going to be. And it's like, yeah, that's good. So Prince is jumping in here and saying, "It's time, fellas. What movie gets you going, makes you happy? Serotonin boost." So, do you have a movie that if you need to pick your spirits up a little bit, got to make you happy, get you in a good mood? Do you have a movie that you go to that you would put in and watch?
Hmm. Oh man, maybe The Burbs. Honestly, that's a movie that can really turn my mood around. And also, like, growing up with, I had a best friend where like me and him would just quote that movie all the time.
Yeah,
And he passed away back in like 2017. But the fact that he's not around anymore, that makes me want to watch the film a little bit more often than I usually will. And like when certain scenes come around, I could just picture him laughing with me. So like that
yeah,
gives me another reason to go back to that movie. But yeah, Joe Dante's The Burbs. That's really one that can lift me up if I'm in a crappy mood or whatever.
oh, that's cool. Juno or Texas, you guys have anything you like to watch? It doesn't have to be your
Um,
favorite movie of all time, but just one that just gets you
yeah.
in a good
Um,
mood.
well, it's not Christine because that's my all-time favorite, but the one that I actually feel like it boosts me up to like feel happy after I'm like feeling upset or something. The one movie that relaxes me is this Disney movie back when Disney was great because I wanted to show is the
Oh,
2003
Halls,
Hulk
yeah,
movie.
yeah, yeah.
This is one of
Nice.
my favorite Disney movies because it just feels like something great that they made. It just feels like even like if like even though like Disney's are known for like kids movies, but this one really like spoke to me like how great characters are built, like
Hmm.
the characters are interesting. They show like more backstory of what happened at this camp, what's about it. Like you get more story in it, and even the final conclusion is not a downbeat. It's a good feel good movie that you'll just be entertained to watch, and it just gives me pot. It just keeps me up, being happy to watch something from Disney that I miss what they used to make back in the day. But that's Holes from 2003.
Oh, awesome. No, that's a great one. Yeah, for sure. Texas, what you got, man?
Um, I'd say pretty much there's this movie. It's a Scottish film from the early '80s called Gregory's Girl, and it's a it's a coming of age. It's really a cute film. I mean, I've liked it pretty much since it came out when I was like 16, and I still watch it. It's one I've been trying to get Moonbeam and I to watch because I think she'd really like it. But yeah, it's one I mean, I recommend that to everybody. I mean, it's a it's really fun and just it's one of those where I've watched it so many times. I know the dialogue, and it's just you know I'll speak in there's Scottish accents and stuff like that, but I won't do that here. But it's really it's one of my favorites. And then for a more recent one, I'd say there's the way back with
Oh,
Steve Carell.
yeah, yeah,
Even though
yeah.
he's a prick in that movie,
Oh God, for
but that
sure.
that movie, I mean, Sam Rockwell is so amazing. And I mean, I've kind of had similar situations in my life like that. Not as bad as like the kid does in that movie, but close to it. But it's it's one I can really relate to though, and that's one of the reasons why I like it.
Oh yeah, that's a good one for sure.
It's
Yeah,
interesting.
you know, we got Meekin in here saying, "Hey, Corey and everyone, I'm gonna run past a lot of the highs back and forth."
But
So
there's another one that was mentioned here from
yeah,
James
go
Van
for it.
Dusen.
Go for
Jimmy
it.
mentioned the Big Lebowski. That is
Oh,
another
okay.
one that could lift me up. Like, I don't know, just The Burbs is really like it's kind of like a sacred movie for me. It's like I don't me and my buddy Elliot, he's not with us anymore, but we would always have good inside jokes about it. There'd be a situation that'd be going on, and he would just quote the movie. But the
Yeah.
Big Lebowski is definitely one. Like I remember we did a watch party for that back on my birthday back in April. But that's another one that can really put me in a better mood.
Oh, for sure. No, I could see that. Yeah, definitely. Mika was saying would
Yeah.
love to talk to Ridley about all things alien.
Even that too, yeah, definitely.
Got Villainous Vixen in here saying, "Hey everyone, thanks for jumping in here." Wes Craven is a good answer. Moonbeam is saying on that, and Mika is saying yes. People Under the Stairs is our favorite Wes Craven film. That's a really good one for sure. Uh, Chester was saying director for me could be John Carpenter, sitting down watching Halloween, talking about the movie, the score, and other stuff too. Yeah, for sure. Uh, sorry, I always do a great job, or not great job, balancing the chat and everything. But Mika was saying that's our philosophy. Nothing goes into our collection unless we've seen it. And that's probably why you have a great collection. And they're all ones you enjoy and that you'll watch again for sure. Zodiac was saying sitting down with Trey Parker and Matt Stone to talk about movies with South Park or whatever would be sweet. Yeah, very cool. Yeah, for sure. Saying hi to Villainous. Rosalia is singing Free Ballin'. Sorry, I'm trying to run through here really quickly. If I miss anybody, again, I know I've said this so many times. It's not on purpose. I'm just kind of running through here quick to keep things rolling. But I appreciate everybody jumping in here and talking. Gizmo's always got to give me a hard time. He says Corey doesn't like the F word, Sean. He told me if I said the F word any more times, he will do a rose on me.
Alright,
Make you
fair
freeze in the
enough.
water, man. Make you freeze in the water.
I've been pretty good so far. I think it was
No,
only one
that's why
F
I
bomb,
never.
two S's. I'm good.
That's why I never want people to. I don't want you to not feel like you could be who you are. So yeah, don't worry about that. Because
See,
I've had,
that's the thing, though. Like, that's why I feel like we can joke about this. I don't
yeah,
get that. I don't sense that from you. You
yeah.
know, it's really just me and my moral compass. Really, it's like, all right, it's to be considerate. At least acknowledge that I said a bad word.
I know, but I don't. I just I don't want you to feel like, oh, I'm walking on eggshells. I
I
can't be who I am.
I really don't feel that way.
Okay, okay,
I'm
cool.
trying. I still want to do my best to avoid it, but I don't feel that way with you though at all. If I felt that way, I probably wouldn't be on the stream with you.
Well, there you go. I appreciate that. Yeah, for sure. Mika was saying Aliens, hands down, is our go-to movie. That's a great one. You can do that for sure. Um, Zodiac says, I'm the dude, man. All right. I'm going to run through. We got some love for the holes in here. I mean, I know I'm running past it, but I feel like I'm falling behind here. uh, wow, you guys are bringing out the chat tonight. I'm having a hard time keeping up. So I'm going to put another pin in it. And okay, have you always had an idea of wanting to do watch alongs for the streams, or was that a newer thing to do? And like we said, nothing you do on YouTube is original. Like everybody's always done something before, and that's okay. You can bring your own personality to it, and that gives the own spin to it. But Sean, I think, did you say at one time you were kind of hesitant about doing the watch alongs to begin with, or?
Yeah, I just was mainly just not comfortable with doing them by myself. But like, when I first when I hit that 1K mark, I was like, I did a 1K celebration stream. I was like, I probably should do streams more often, but I was like, I don't know what topics to really focus on. And I was like, maybe it might just be best to just start out with watch parties, but we kind of just ran with that. But
Yeah.
I mean, occasionally, like we were doing some hangout streams here and there, but once Juno and Tex got their channels up and they started doing what they wanted to do, we kind of got away from that. But, we'll get back to that eventually. That's why I try to have like a top 5 for different genres and topics or whatever every now and then on the channel if we can get that in. But I really find it difficult to be creative with, topics for streams. Because I feel like almost everything's been created or done really at this point, and
Right. Right.
I don't think there's anything wrong with doing stuff that people have already done. It's like you said, as long as you put your own kind of twist on it, that's what's going
Your
to make it different.
personality is the difference. Your
Yeah,
personality. Yeah.
right. That, and plus, as you go along with it, you'll figure out other things to really bring to it overall. And for me, I just try to make sure I'm focusing on the movie as much as possible,
Yeah.
because there is people that are going to rewatch it. It's really not about that. My number one thing is hanging out with Juno in Texas. My next thing to worry about is to acknowledge the chat, because without them, it's only half of the stream really.
Absolutely.
And once I got all that really juggled and taken care of, I just try to, just focus on that movie really. And, I feel like when you're doing almost any kind of stream, time management can be important.
Oh yeah.
I don't mind doing
I struggle
streams
with
that
it.
are, yeah, that's, I just try to have an idea of what's going on with the time, but I don't mind doing 3-hour streams, but there isn't a lot of people out there that are going to be like, this stream's 3 hours. I'm not going to rewatch it. Which again is not my number one thing, but I just try
Right.
to be considerate of every corner and aspect of being a content creator.
Yeah. So that leads into some things I'm thinking about too. So the three of you, when you're going to do a watch along, how do you come up with the movies you're going to watch the next time?
Yeah, I mean, I know I did schedule some ahead of time there, but at this point, it's like, all right, we're in the October Halloween season. So it's like, all right, I'm going to try to focus on movies that are a little bit more related to that. For a while there, I was actually trying my best to focus on movies that I know Juno likes and that I like. So I was trying to focus on that, and then Texas started joining us a bit more, and and he's been pretty open to a lot of things. Like, I mean, sometimes I'll just schedule something without asking them to. I'll just schedule it. But overall, I wouldn't say that things are like etched in stone until that month starts. Once that month starts, that's when I try to leave it alone. So, like, there might be things that are scheduled like a month or two from now. That doesn't mean it's definitely going to happen. That's just what's planned right now.
Yeah. So do all three of you kind of like throw out movies that you're thinking about and then kind
Same
of
here.
roll it around and figure out what you want to do?
Pretty much,
Yeah.
Yeah, I
pretty
mean,
much just like just picking a movie.
Sean will ask, what do you think about this or that, or B, you could do this one on your channel or whatever. But I'm always off the cuff because I think about schedules and stuff, but then I am kind of like, well, I kind of think this would be cool to do this, or whatever, because this month, I did some pretty much like blaxploitation films from the 70s, and whatnot, because I was even when I was a kid, I've adored Pam Grier and always thought she was amazing. So last night, I capped it off with Foxy Brown and Coffee because
Yeah.
I figured I'd end the month with her. But I showed a bunch of movies that I liked, and people have always kind of found it weird that like about me because they're like, why do you like this or why do you like that? And it's just because I do. I don't have to adhere to society's norms about what I like or whatever. I mean, when I was a kid growing up, my father was really into like country and western music, and then my mom was into like Motown and R&B and like the radio, and before, like when I was growing up, before I really myself found like my own things that I liked, I was really kind of I'd like all sorts of stuff, and then there'd be like kids at school and they're like, it's like this one kid I remember, he's like, man, I really like Bobby Womack, and I was like, I do too. And they're like, he's like looking at me like, are you out of your fucking mind? Yeah, whoops. There's my first and hopefully only.
All right. Good night, everybody. We gotta shut the stream down. No. You're good. Don't feel like you gotta walk on eggshells. You're good, man.
Well, actually, he probably didn't say the F-bomb because we were probably like 8 years old, but you're probably close to it enough. But anyway, so, but I mean, it's just kind of weird that people always is like, well, why do you like this? Why do you, or whatever, and it's not like a judgment thing, but people would be really surprised, and I'd say, well, my mom listens to Al Green all the time. We have like a ton of his records at home, and whatever. It's like, we had just about everything, and so it was. And then when I started getting into music, and that went all haywire. But,
Yeah.
But
no, it's
I like
funny.
what I like.
It's funny you mentioned that. Earlier this year, I was with a group of people and we were out movie hunting, and I bought a copy of Coffee, and I still got to watch that. Pam Grier with Coffee. I still got to watch that one. So it'll be a first time watch for me. Hopefully I'll get it in here soon, but that's the story of our lives, right? That love movies and collecting, where you buy all these movies, or even if you stream, you put all of them in your my list kind of a thing, and it's hard to get to all of them. But
yeah.
Sounds
Sean's always going, you got too many sealed like discs. You need to open this stuff and watch it because it may be defective and then you're screwed.
Yep.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why, like, I used to do stuff like that early on with collecting. I was like, I don't really need to open that right now. I'm not going to watch it. And then one day I opened something up and the discs were all scratched up. And I was like, well, there's no way I can return that now. It's too late. So, like, that did happen to me, and I learned my lesson from that. Always open your movies and check everything.
Yeah.
And then watch it whenever you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
But not everyone has to do that. That's just what I have to do. Though.
Yeah, for sure. So I know we all have some bit of a physical collection that we have going on. I don't care the format. I'm not a snob between those. So it's like VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, 4K. I don't care. It's fun to have things in your collection and movies you love to go to watch. So I believe all of you have some physical collections that you have going on, and I'm just kind of curious how that's going for you now. Like for me personally, for new stuff, I've kind of been leaning to more used lately buying just because the prices have been going up on a lot of things, and for my budget, what I want to be able to spend or not spend, I've been going to some more used things. So I'm kind of curious, like, what's for each of you, what you're collecting, how is it going right now? Are you doing it at all? Are you swaying one way or the other? Are you going more to streaming, used, new, whatever? Just kind of how's it going for you in 2024 September?
If one of you guys want to go first, you can go.
Well, I mean, I've cut down a bit. I've not as much as like the past couple of years, but I mean, these upcoming months, that's the worst. So I'm expecting to kind of, you know,
Yeah.
probably blow, some dollars on some things, but
Are you talking like Black Friday sales, things like that, or?
yeah, and stuff. And then I just learned that Severin has, because this was a big peeve of mine, and then it's kind of funny the way the universe works because I've been telling Sean about this, and then all of a sudden it's like we did a stream for Beyond the Valley of the Dolls, and I was telling Sean, I said, all of Russ Meyer's other films, he owns the rights, and now that he's gone, the people taking care of his estate have blown this. There's no new releases coming out of anything, and it's outrageous when you go to like the website that they have for them, and they're wanting like $80 a piece for a Blu-ray that probably looks like garbage. And so then now, just within like the past couple of weeks, Severin announced that they've gone and they're dealing with the estate. They had a bunch of red tape and things that it was a mess. Apparently, they had to get through and clean up. But they're coming out with the first three releases they're putting out, which are Super Vixens, Vixen, which is my all-time favorite, and Beyond the Valley of the Ultra Vixens. So, I mean, as soon as they announce those for sale, boom, I'm on it. So, that's something that I've been waiting for a long, long time.
Oh, very cool.
So,
Juno, how about you? How about you, man?
Yeah. For me, I like collecting movies. Like not my place, but like my old place I used to live. I used to have like a shitload of tubs of movies, but I got rid of them, most of them, because like I wasn't really watching them, or there were movies I just didn't care for. So I kind of lowered like getting rid of them, and then during pandemic era, I started collecting movies and watching them and enjoying more movies. And I only have like a tub full of movies right now,
Yeah, that's
but
cool.
it's just like I'm still into like collecting more movies. But like when you're surprisingly find like a rare title that's going up for like stupid amount of money, that's like 100, $200. Like for example, like I found WrestleMania 17 a couple of years ago at an FYE for $48, and it
Yeah.
was used. And then when I went home to check it out, both two discs were playable. They weren't skipping or scratching, because usually when you get used stuff, like you'll get like something that's scratched or not working. But that was worth it, $48, because that was like that usually goes for like almost $100 nowadays. But it's like any title that you see that's out of print, it's gonna go for a lot of money, even with Screen Factory.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Sometimes you don't even realize what you have, because I've had some group chats I'm in where they're throwing out and like, look what this is going for. And I'm like, I have that, and all of a sudden I'm like, I have that horrible, nasty feeling like, should I try to sell it for that? And then I'm like, no, I'll keep my movie. But it's kind of
I
crazy.
remember
Yeah,
like
it's cool.
early on as a collector, and I was starting to, get a hang of like out of print stuff. I was like, yeah, I should sell this stuff, for like all this money. And I was like, as I started really collecting more and like interacting with you, I was like, this ain't the right thing to be doing. Like I have sold some shit before for stupid money, but it came down to like, someone's willing to give me $80 for this. Like,
Well,
to me, like, I already have another copy of it. Like I really don't need it and I can use that money, but I don't do that at all anymore. Like I don't try to make money off of, selling a movie and stuff.
yeah. This was a recent one. Some in a group chat they posted, and I'm like, wait a minute, I have that one, and it was Ready or Not. So,
Oh, okay.
so there's like some random ones where they just go out of print for a little bit, and then all of a sudden on eBay they're.
That's out of print.
I don't know if it's out of
Yeah.
print,
That
but it's
title is
not.
what?
It's not on Amazon, and all of a sudden there's
Oh,
eBay selling sellers going for like silly money for it.
Yeah, like
I
it's
bet
tricky with
you.
out of print stuff. It's really hard to figure out what's out of print and what's not.
Or if there's
So
just a lack of
sometimes,
stock for a little bit, or or something, or
well, I usually, like one thing that usually grabs my attention is the price when it goes like, it'll, let's say there's a Blu-ray or whatever, it's going for $20, and then like I come across it and I'll be like, why is this going for $55? And then I start to look into it more, and then I see the eBay links, and people start labeling the out of print stuff, and it's like, well, it looks like it's out of print on multiple sites. I think it's safe
yeah,
to say that this thing is out of print now.
yeah. Well, that was one that they were throwing out some links where it was selling for like, yeah, amounts that I was questioning whether I'd keep it in my collection or not. But I'm like, I don't want to do that. I want to keep it. I
Yeah.
enjoy that movie. I have fun with it, and I didn't buy it for anything with what they're saying it's selling for. But I've been through that thing before with some of my VHS and DVDs way back in the day, where I purged a lot of stuff, sold, got rid of whatever, a lot of things, and I wish I did not do that. And so I see that where I'm like, oh, that'd be kind of nice to have whatever 60-70 bucks for a movie, but then all of a sudden I'm like, well, I'll be looking back at that and wish I just would have kept it, And
Yeah, that's always
Yeah,
the
I used to. I used to think people were completely out of their minds for spending like $100 on a movie.
I won't do it.
And
But
I mean, I won't do it either, but
if you want
there was
to,
a
go
couple
for it.
times
But
on YouTube where I saw YouTubers. Like I saw a guy one time, he bought the Lord of Illusion Scream Factory Blu-ray for like $125. It was out of print. And he bought it for like $125, but he actually explained why he bought it.
right.
Like for like a good like 5-10 minutes in this video, and everything he touched upon just like made sense to me, and like he just kind of kept saying like, it doesn't matter what I paid for it. If I'm happy with it, it should only, make me
Oh yeah.
happy. Like,
Oh yeah.
if anyone's got a problem with me spending this much money on it, like I don't really care how you feel about it, because to me, a movie's priceless.
Yeah.
And the fact that this movie's out of print now, like this is the only way I could really get it. You only live once. Life's too short to not spend the money you have on something. And like, just
Absolutely.
hearing the guy talk, I was like, you know what? I can't disagree with anything he's saying. Like, who
No.
cares how I think about it or how I feel about it?
Yeah. No, I'll never trash on somebody for buying something for whatever price they feel is it's worth. Like I won't trash somebody for that. I'll just say it's not worth it for me. I'm
Yeah,
not going to pay that much. But that doesn't mean I'm tearing you apart and saying, "Oh, you did something horrible." No, it's like, but that's like even a plane ticket to go on a vacation. Somebody can be like, you paid $300 to go to Florida. Like I wouldn't pay that much to go. Like it's personal. It's what it's worth to you. And
Yeah.
so I never would trash somebody. That movie, Ready or Not. If somebody paid $75 for it, I'm not gonna make fun of them or like give them a hard time about that. I just say like, I wouldn't pay that for it, but that doesn't mean anything wrong about what you do. But everybody, it's personal and what it's worth to you to do. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I don't like. I think the most I ever paid for a movie was about $65. I think that was it
I bought a few that I probably wish I wouldn't have, but
was the Nightmares in a Damaged Brain 4K from Severn Films, and
okay.
I had FOMO just kicked in because I was like, I was like, it's got the slipcover. I know that thing's gonna sell out quick, and it's still available with the slipcover. And it's like, oh, I should have jumped on that, man.
The
But I think as a collector, you really learn a lot of things.
Yeah,
Like also like with out of print movies, just because a movie's out of print, that doesn't mean it's going to be out of print forever. I
correct.
had to
Just
learn
have
that like
patience.
over the
Yeah,
years. Like, all right, if you just wait it out, another company's going to get the rights to it,
yeah,
and they're going to do an upgrade on it or something. And that's like another thing that's kind of good about the 4K format, whether people really like it or not. Because from what I've noticed, the 4K format can really revive a movie.
oh yeah,
Like
yeah,
for instance, The Abyss was only available on DVD for years. Didn't even get a Blu-ray release. It finally got a 4K Blu-ray this year. And
well,
it's hard to
is
say if that movie actually would have got a Blu-ray without the
right,
4K format. And I
yeah,
feel like without the 4K format, they probably would have kept overlooking it.
right, yeah. Well, and the big one right now too, isn't it? The Hitcher is the big second sight release that just came out. Yeah,
Yeah. You know what? I unfortunately, I know we were talking about like where you at with like collecting and stuff, and I'm kind of at the point right now where I have to slow down. I
oh,
have
I've
to
been
try
slowing
and catch
down.
up on bills. Like I'm not
Oh,
really buying much right now, and like lately I've been looking at things that are at 10.99 and less. That's like
oh, dude.
affordable for me right now. But
No
with
judgment from me, man. No judgment from me because I'm there too. Like I'm like kind of like a 4K hits $10, cool. If a Blu-ray hits $8 or $5, yeah, cool. Let's go for that. And then the shying away from the 40, 50, $60 for one movie. Like I'm sure it's cool, but I've been pulling back on
Yeah.
those things quite a bit.
But that Hitcher release, I
Yeah,
really that looks like a beautiful box set, and it's a movie that is long overdue for its upgrade.
yeah,
But I was like, you know
Yep.
what? I don't have $70 for this movie right now. So I decided to just order the standard Blu-ray. And I'll
yeah,
have that next month. And another thing is like felt like I had something for it because the DVD itself, for me personally, is up there as one of the worst DVDs of all time as far as video quality goes. There's these
It's
real
awesome.
faint lines that go through the print. And over the years with watching that, it's like can I just get some clarity when I'm watching The Hitcher? Like, that's all I want is clarity right now. So that's why I was like, I gotta get something here. And like, I think the second sight Blu-ray, just the standard, was about $22 with shipping. So I was like, all right, I can afford that compared to
yeah,
$70 for the 4K box set. But
yeah.
I would love to have that box set, but I just got to do what I can afford right now. And
Oh yeah,
like I will say
Yeah.
this too, like I love The Hitcher, but it's just not like a top 10 movie all time for me. Like I love the movie. It's just not like, I don't know. It's not like Jaws for me or something. Like Jaws is a big movie for me, or like the original
yeah,
Star Wars trilogy. Like those are big movies for me.
Yeah. The
But
the Hitcher. The Hitcher is an all-time classic for everybody. Like it's even one of the better Roger Howard movies that's out there. Like I like how he's charismatic as a bad guy in that movie, where you just feel like you're intimidated by his character, and
mm,
you feel like sympathy for C. Thomas Howell's character because he's in this predicament because he picked up the stranger, and then now he's targeting more people by making it this C. Thomas Howell's his fault. Like he's like going paranoia when he's caught by the police, and then that's when he starts attacking the police, and it just goes into like that paranoia territory of how great filmmaking is with a great character.
right.
It just, but the only thing I would say disappointing about that release I feel like they did kind of took a long. I feel like they did kind of waited forever because for years they never re-released that movie,
Hmm.
and it would have been cool to see Roger Howard talking about the movie.
Yeah.
But sadly, they took a long time, and he's already been gone for a couple of years already. So, but
Right.
the movie is dedicated to him at least. At least they got some actors interviewed, especially like C. Thomas Howell. Like, there's a clip that he is interviewed in the special features, which is pretty awesome to see that.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
No, I know that's one that people have been clamoring for forever, and I wouldn't mind to rewatch it again. It's been forever since I've seen that movie, so I just don't know if
Very
I'm buying that
underrated.
set. But I want to watch that again here sometime soon.
Yeah. But Rucker Hauer, he's like an all-time villain, like one of the
Yeah.
best villains. Like him as Roy Batty and Blade Runner, and yeah, even in The Hitcher, man, he's like like just watching it. Yeah, obviously you're safe watching a movie, but you're still frightened by his presence and how he is in the movie and shit.
Yeah. But then he can be kind of a good guy, right? And like Blind Fury or some classic like that,
Oh, Blind Fury, that's a good one.
right?
I
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Blind Fury.
I haven't
I
seen
just
that
like
in a while. I
overall,
haven't,
like
but
I just when I think of Rucker Hauer, I think of a very menacing villain.
oh, for sure,
It's
he played it really well. Yeah, no, he played those very, very well.
I mean, you
Uh,
could even say that he's the good guy in Hobo with a Shotgun too.
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I haven't seen that in a long time either. I'm gonna run through some of these real quick. Jim was saying hello, Corey, Texas, Sean, and Juno, and everyone in the chat. Jim, thanks for jumping in.
Yeah.
If you're still here, I'm good at falling behind, but jumping past some of the hellos back and forth. But Prince was saying, "What's a movie you can't stand watching, fellas?"
I did
Oh,
see that question. I was thinking about that. I mean, if there's a movie that I can't stand watching, usually it's not in my collection for a reason. But I don't know, man.
If you don't have one, that's fine too. But no, it was just one question he threw out
It's a
there.
good question, regardless if
Yeah,
I have an answer. I know that.
there's a lot of them.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
a
think we
toss
all
and
have.
turn. There's a
Yeah,
lot. There's a lot of titles like that.
yeah, for sure.
Oh, you know what? There is one movie that I really cannot stand, and it's so overhyped, and people just love talking about it. But I'm also not a big found footage person, but Lake Mungo. F that
I have
movie
not seen
all
that yet.
day,
I
man.
have not seen that
Oh,
yet.
what a waste of time that movie was. That's a
Tell-
dreadful one for me. Everybody loves it too, and I'm just watching it like, what are we talking about here? This is like Skinamarink. Nothing happens.
Texas, Juno, do you agree with that?
It's like if
Uh,
nothing, so if it's like Skinamarink but worse, then that's just bad.
I'm just going to tell you right now. I'm not going to tell people to not see it, but I'm just going to tell you right now. Nothing happens in the movie. Nothing.
Not even a conclusion ending. That's disturbing.
Just distorted picture, and then credits roll, from what I remember.
What?
It's got. I will say this. It's got a cool concept. I know that. That's what really drew me into it. But as you're watching it and you get to the final act or whatever you want to call that, it's wow. Did anything happen here? Nope.
Yeah. Maybe it's for the three of you.
Uh,
Jim's asking, when's the public showing of Human Centipede? You gonna be watching along for that?
Hey, three's a crowd, right?
yeah, but it is
Three's
a
the
toss.
centipede.
Yeah, it's a
I
toss and turn about that. Like, do you have a pick, Corey?
what's that?
Were you gonna say something? I'm sorry.
No. I just I've never seen that one, but I've heard very divisive opinions about it. But
Yeah,
have you all seen it before?
but
Human Centipede,
I have
yeah,
not
I've
seen
seen
it. Oh, you're talking about Link Monko or Centipede?
Human
Lake
Centipede.
Mungo. I think we're
Well,
talking Lake Mungo.
I haven't seen either one of them, but I was talking about Human Centipede. But I actually haven't seen either one of those.
I
We're
seen
talking.
Centipede on it's on my old my old family's computer that's
Yeah.
downloaded on there, but I could deal with it as a time waster. Like it's not, it's like a garbage fun movie to watch. Like it's like you would watch it, like it looks like those sci-fi kind of movies where you just watch it at late night and you just watch and just sit down and watch it
Yeah.
until it ends. That's what I feel about the movie, but like it does get worse with the second one.
Mhm.
And the third one is a bit ridiculous, but the second one is really bad. It goes like too much,
Yeah.
too
I never,
grotesque and gruesome.
Yeah.
I never went that far with it. I've just seen the first one, and I mean, it's highly laughable throughout the whole thing. At least it was for me.
Yeah.
But wow, a movie that I I'd have to say that Uwe Boll, House of the Dead, that is just one of the worst pieces of trash out
I have not
there.
seen that.
I I
Yeah,
swear, I swear, and I told Sean and Juno this. I think like when I saw it, I actually saw the remake of Texas Chainsaw because it had just come out, and I at the time I lived real close to a movie theater. I could walk there. Well, unbeknownst to me, I had actually tore a muscle in the back of my knee. So when I was, when I was walking there, it wasn't from that. I think it was getting off the bus one time or something. But so as I'm walking to the theater to go see, Texas Chainsaw, I'm hurting like really bad. And so anyway, I get through, Texas Chainsaw, and then I get up and I'm just still in pain. So I'm like, screw this. I'm gonna have to, sit again for a while. So I just walked into like House of the Dead, and I'm sitting there. There's quite a few people in there. This thing starts. It might have been like on 10 minutes and people are like leaving in droves. And I had to stay because I was in so much pain,
Yeah.
and stuff. But oh
Wow.
my god, I was just like, okay, I get it. I'm being punished for this. Okay, I see what's going on here.
Yeah. We had some more love for Pam Grier. Mika was in here saying love Pam Grier, coffee, and Foxy Brown. I got that copy of, like I said, I got that copy of Foxy, or not Foxy, coffee. Copy of Foxy or coffee. I can't even talk tonight. Whatever. You know what I'm saying. Coffee I have not watched yet, but I have it in the collection. So I gotta watch that one. So let's see what we got here. Mika was also saying, love that Texas. Don't be stuck in a box. We always say we have eclectic taste. Yeah, keep on expanding. That's the thing. It's like, be willing to watch something that's out of your comfort zone. And sometimes you might find something you really enjoy and takes you in a different direction. Or you might not like it and you just decide that's not your thing, which is cool. But you don't know until you try it, right? So,
Yeah, it's when it comes to movies, I feel like there's wasting your time on a movie is not the end of the world.
yeah.
There's plenty of other ways to waste your time and sit there and be like, damn, I could have been doing this or something. All right. So if someone recommended a movie, you watched it, it didn't turn out to be something that was up your alley.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world, man. I think it's important to be that way because it helps you to be open minded with
Oh,
things.
absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
When
Oh,
you
go ahead.
know,
Gina.
when you and yet when we were talking about that question, Corey, earlier, where we were worried about recommending movies,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
with
yeah.
that reverse question, like I was worried to criticize some movies because some
Oh,
people
for
can
sure.
be really nasty if you criticize their movie. They're gonna curse you out or even say really awful stuff back to you. Like there's
Absolutely.
YouTubers that have been like even death threatened or even said some awful things about their family. Like that is really messed up. So
It's just movies. Like
that's
it's
that's
just movies.
yeah, it's
Don't.
just movies. Like they can't just accept the criticism. Like it's not like they're hating the movie. It's like they're just giving their honest opinion about it.
Yeah.
It's not like because it's like not every movie people's gonna love. Like there's some
Absolutely.
movies I like that people are gonna criticize. Like, oh, you like this movie? And then there's movies I love that I don't like, but people highly praise them, and
Yeah,
I'm like equal about my opinion about it, and that's cool if anybody loves them. I always say to each their own to everybody
absolutely.
because everybody's equal to their opinion. Like they have different tastes of a movie.
Absolutely. Juno, that's a great point. Yeah, that opposite of what I was saying earlier. Yeah, I could totally see that. Like you getting recommended movies and having that fear of like not liking it and being truthful about what you think. Not saying you're not going to be truthful, but like you I no, absolutely. That's a great point with that. But that's the thing. I think all of us on here right now have that mindset of we know there's movies that we really really like, but we know not everybody's going to like that movie, kind of a thing, and we
Yeah,
won't have our feelings hurt if you don't like it. Uh but no, I completely agree. That's the same thing. Yeah. Somebody's like, "Oh, it's my favorite movie ever. You should watch it." And you watch it and you're like, nothing against you, but it's just not my thing. And where sometimes there's hard feelings about that. But no, that's a good
Yeah.
point.
It's the one movie that is like this is like almost like an annual watch every October. Like I have to watch this movie. I'm okay with people's opinions, but like sometimes I find it annoying when I hear people are like, "I like the second one better." I'm always like, eh. Like I'm okay with the opinion,
Oh,
but I'm always like, "What is it with the second one compared to the first one?" But Night of the Demons,
oh,
this
okay.
is this is a big movie for me. Since I discovered this when I was a kid in like the early '90s, man, I fell in love with this movie,
So
and
when you're saying the
I just
second, is there the remake or the second?
there's like three of them, and then
Okay,
there's
but
a remake from
yeah,
like
yeah, okay.
2010 or something like that. But it's just like I hear a lot of people say like I like the second one better, and I'll always be like, why?
I have a stream I'm going to be on next month where I'm supposed to watch the original compared to the remake of Night of the Demons. So,
My opinion,
and
Night and Day.
their first time watches, both of them for me. So,
Oh wow, okay.
yeah,
I'm not a big fan of the remake, but the first one really is just like it's such a perfect Halloween movie. It takes place on Halloween night. It's got
yeah.
a great cast, cool punk rock music throughout it. Good atmosphere too. It's a little cheap horror movie, low budget film, but it's something I gotta watch every October at some point.
No, that's cool. Before I get in the chat again, another question I was thinking about asking you all, like the three of you, like we talked about different genres we like, and so I know there's more than just this, but a lot of the watch-alongs have leaned into horror movies. Have you have you had any that have caught you off guard? Maybe made you uncomfortable or scared you, or maybe you're to the point where nothing phases you with horror movies. But I'm just kind of curious if you can think of any horror movies, recent or in the past, that really set you back. That you're like, wow, that was something I just watched. But,
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I like the horror genre.
yeah.
I'm always
Okay.
gonna find a movie like that where I'll be like, "Holy shit!" Like, yo,
Did,
like,
did they
what
just
is going on,
did they
man?
just do that? Did they just do
Yeah, like
that?
I love that, dude. It's like no matter how desensitized I can be with the genre, I always get around to something to being like, wow, that's a real gut punch right there.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit.
Yeah, so to clarify, with this, doesn't mean you're saying it's the scariest movie ever, but it's just one that kind of hit you in a certain way. Whether it just like creeped you out, grossed you out, spooked you out, whatever. Just kind of curious if there's been any in your, whether it was a watch along or even on your own, that kind of hit you that way.
I
Well,
mean, oh, go ahead, Tex. Go ahead.
for reason, I mean, long legs, freak me out. I mean, I was just
Which one?
long legs. I mean, I'm
Oh
trying to.
yeah,
When
yeah,
I got out of the theater, I mean, I'm trying. I'm like, what did I'm just all these questions are in my brain, and I'm
yep,
trying to figure it out. But I mean, it's one of those that I think I'm gonna have to um see again, and then Beau is Afraid. That, oh,
I haven't seen
geez.
that one.
That was
I
another
love
one
that
that
movie.
just, oh man. I mean, it's a really good movie, I think, up till like the last 20 minutes. And that movie's like 3 hours long, but that last 20 minutes is so slow as molasses. It's just like, I mean, I was with my friend and he's really liking it. And I'm just like, kill me, you know? You know? I'm like, this is so
Is it time to go yet?
ridiculous, you know? But one that really scary that I really like in recent years is Dark and the Wicked. I mean,
Oh,
wow, it's like you want to take a shower afterwards. It's just so like terrifying. I mean, you know, some people probably won't think that, but for me, I was just like, "Ooh, Jesus,
well,
that
movies
is,
can hit people differently. You know,
yeah,
your past experiences or whatever, it can lean into that. And yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I never heard of that one, Dark and the Wicked. I wrote
yeah.
it
It's
down.
on Shutter. It's amazing. It's really
Yeah.
good.
Okay, I have Shutter right now. So
What was the
The,
other one you just mentioned?
Beau is Afraid and
Yeah,
that.
right.
and
Yeah.
Long
See, I know
Legs.
what happens now. Like when I'm like doing a stream and I start focusing on the comments, and then I come back, I'm like, "Shh, what were you just
What were we
talking
talking
about?"
about? Oh,
That's
dude, I
what
do that all the
happens to
time,
me.
man.
Like,
I do it all the time. That's why earlier when we had the question, you were like, "What were we just talking about?" And I'm like, "I don't
that's what
know."
happened. I started reading the chat, and
I
then
know,
I
but I
got
did
back
it.
up and was like, "Oh, damn, what were you just talking about?"
But I did it
But
too, and I'm just like, let's move on to the next one because I can't remember it either.
yeah,
like, I
the,
pretty much agree
the
with
movies
Texas.
that I,
Like,
Ju-
Bo was afraid. Like, I liked the movie, but that last final act, that last half hour is kind of like, oh, okay, we done yet? Because we're just kind of going in circles here, like literally, like a boat's going in circles, and it's like people cheering in this arena and everything, and it's just like, did this have to be this long? Like, I think Bo is afraid probably could have been cut down for like maybe close to an hour, really, but. I know the first half of that
yeah,
movie had me dying laughing, dude. I was laughing really hard, like into that movie.
Juno, you
yeah.
got any
Uh,
that jump out to you?
I know like the movie that that did kind of disturb me last year was Nefarious,
Oh yeah,
and it was because I recommended because of my sister. She recommended me that movie,
yeah.
and she was telling me all the details, like why nobody doesn't really talk about it because Rotten Tomatoes pretty much like was covering all the story about it because it was actually how a real life possession is portrayed in a movie,
Hmm.
and real life exorcism priests have seen the movie and said that's pretty much accurate how possessions are, the
I've
way
heard that too.
how
Yep.
Sean Patrick Flanery portrays the possessed character. But they do an interesting story in that where it's not just like he's straight up demonic throughout the movie. He actually goes back as his normal self,
Yeah.
who kind of like feels like you feel sympathy for him because he
Oh
feels
yeah.
like you don't know if he was involved murdering somebody, or it's just because he was involved with that devil being like the murder rage person that made him do it. So that's why it's always that illusion when you see those possessed movies where they go violent acts
Yeah.
on what they're doing because if they're in the way of their being demonically possessed. And that movie freaked me out because like the way how it was portraying the possession and how it was going a little far with some of the messed up stuff that I don't want to like mention on the stream, but like they
Right.
go really far, like saying like really messed up stuff.
Yeah. Not to
But
spoil
all in
anything
all, I
either.
thought Sean Patrick played, yeah, but Sean
Go.
Patrick Flanery did a phenomenal performance.
I agree. No, I agree.
He's underrated.
Not to give things away too, but like you said, feeling sorry for him or whether you should or shouldn't. Like the point where, like I don't want to give anything away, but
'Cause-
where the final meal was canceled, And he's like, I didn't cancel that. I didn't. And he's like, I want that. So I'm like, no, it's too late now. You know, like there's stuff like that. I'm
Yeah.
just like, oh my gosh. It's like,
Yeah, the
but
cheeseburger
I
and the
know.
yeah,
milkshake. You know,
yeah.
he ordered a
And they're
cheeseburger
like,
and a milkshake.
you said you didn't want it. And I'm like, no, I didn't say that, you know, and he's on death row. And it's, no, there was
Like
like things like that. I'm like, oh crap. Like,
Yeah, without like ruining anything.
that,
Like
that
somebody mentioned that, but who was it?
yeah,
Yeah.
right. Exactly. Exactly.
yeah, that was like the one of those movies that disturbed me last year, and I
I
really
can see that.
enjoy it.
I have that in my collection because a good friend of mine was like, he goes, it's not an easy watch, but he goes, it's worth watching. And I saw it and I'm like, oh, I'll just pick it up. But no, I'm right there with you. I can see where that.
Yeah,
Like I mean, like I don't think the movie hit as much as it did for me, like the way it did with
Yeah.
Juno, but that dialogue interaction, like Sean Patrick Flannery, that's one thing I can agree with Juno. He does a really good job in that movie.
Yeah. It's a hard thing to pull off in a movie like that where they're in like pretty much one location and a lot of dialogue. That's a hard thing to pull off with a movie. And I think they did, personally, I think they did a good job with it. But, you know,
Yeah.
other people could have other opinions
many
with
movies
it.
do
But,
that.
yeah.
Many movies do that, where it's just one location and it
Yep.
just like you're having the setting, not nowhere else. Just that setting delivers tension and paranoia throughout it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, like, I think one thing that makes that work is like just like the topic that's going on to start the conversation and how he knows all this background info on this guy.
Yeah.
Knows the fact that him and his wife are about to have an abortion and all this stuff. Like, I'm not gonna spoil too much or whatever, but just like hearing that, it's like, okay, like that makes me interested. Before you know it, like you're just like deep into this character interaction here between two people. And
Yeah.
you know, the little gestures that Sean Patrick Flannery makes as he's doing it, you can see that he's struggling with his self and whatever else that's, you know, conquering him in that moment.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Before I move on to more stuff here, Sean, did you have any that you wanted to throw out too, or?
I mean, I just like quickly look through like old streams and stuff, but when we did Action Movie Month back in June, John Wick Chapter 4 was the first time watch for me.
Yeah.
And you know, I didn't realize like Donnie Yen was in the movie, and
Oh,
it just like I was just really surprised by it, mainly because you know it's a fourth film in a franchise. Usually, a lot of franchises are already run into the ground at that point, no matter what kind of genre it is. But I was just really surprised by the movie. Like, I really enjoyed the first half of it more than the second half. I know it's the longest John Wick film out of the whole series there, but it's like nothing about it, you know, shocked me or really like, you know, scared me like a horror movie. I was just really surprised by it. But like, like you know, like I said, there's not too many first time watches really on the channel at this point, but that's definitely something that stood out to me. But I mean, one movie we'll probably never get around to because Texas hates this movie, but this I'm still trying to figure out this movie here, Possession.
Oh,
This
okay.
is a movie that's truly, when I first saw this film, this movie haunts me. And there's doppelgangers in it, which just totally screws with my head. And every time I watch it and I get to the end, I'm always like, I'm gonna have to watch this again because there's still something missing from my brain here that I should be paying attention to. Like, but I just find this to be some of the best acting too for a horror movie. The acting between Isabel Adjani and Sam Neill is just incredible, man.
Yeah.
The interactions and arguments that they have, just going back with each other, is just so realistic and surreal, man. But Texas isn't a fan of that one because he's just not able to handle a realistic movie like that, I guess.
It's not that. It's like if I wanted to watch a movie where two people were yelling at each other, I would just, you know, go over to my neighbor's house and yell at them or something.
I was gonna say, go down to the corner grocery store or something.
I mean, it's like I love Richard Linklater, but there's that one that he did, not Scanner Darkly, but there's this other one, Waking Life, I think, and it's, you know, one of the two animated ones that he did, and I can't stand that one either. I mean, you know, there was all this like yelling in it, and I don't know. It's like I can take scenes of people yelling at each other, but when it's just all too much and it feels like, you know, neurological damage, that's when it's just like when it hits me in the head and I'm like, oh man, this is giving me a headache. I cannot deal with this. And I mean, I turned Waking Life off probably after like 20 minutes, and I've
Yeah.
never tried to watch it again.
No, I can see that.
No,
for
it's
sure.
that's the thing though, like the different points of view and opinions on like I disagree with Texas, but
Yeah.
I hear where he's coming from though. Like I
But
can understand that.
you can still talk to him. You don't hate him,
Yes,
because
yes, yes.
you're
Yeah.
like, okay, we can still talk to each other.
I mean, if maybe like I drink a little bit and, or something, that night, maybe I can get through it,
Something.
get myself in a more mellower state. But when I
Well,
watched it, I was just like, oh,
Yeah. We have
it's all
our
right.
opinions and each
Not
their own.
every movie is for every person. That's the thing, and
It's
that's
to each
okay.
their own. Yeah.
Yep, exactly, Juno, for
Yeah, it's
sure.
like I mentioned, like everybody's not gonna like what we're gonna like. Like
Correct.
I have some movies that people don't like. Like people hate Van Helsing. I like that movie, but people think that movie sucks. And I'm like, okay, like that's fine. Like if people don't like it, that's to each their own.
Yeah.
But that's like an example because I know people don't like it because it does have some CGI, and I don't like CGI. But it was a movie that I grew up watching when I was like, because I had a lot of movies, and that was one of those DVDs that I had was the Van Helsing movie with Hugh Jackman, and I
Yeah.
thought it was like a really cool movie to watch because I also had the Mummy movies on VHS,
Mm.
and those were awesome. So that because it was also directed by the same director, Steven Sommers,
Oh
who
yeah.
also directed an underrated gem that me and Sean did a watch party for, which was Deep Rising
Oh
with
yeah.
the late Trev
That's the
Williams.
same guy. I didn't even realize that was the same director. Deep
Yeah,
Yeah.
Rising's
he did.
Deep Rising's a
He did
fun
Do
one.
Rising.
That's a fun one.
It's so funny that you mentioned that Deep Rising, Juno, because I remember like when you mentioned it to me, I was like, yo, I forgot about that movie. And like it all started flooding back to me. I was like, I remember when that movie came out, like that summer, it was on like the USA Network, like every weekend. That's how I saw it. And like that whole summer, I never had the opportunity to sit down and watch the whole thing. But I kept coming on TV so often, I was like, all right, yeah, I'm finally catching a new part of the movie here. But that movie is really fun, and going back and watching that, it just made me realize, like, this, for me personally, this movie holds up. It's got a great blend of action, some sci-fi horror elements to it, good comedy and humor throughout it, good character interactions, likable characters and stuff. I just can't believe like that movie kind of just I forgot about it, went over my head, but it's really good to have that in the collection now and to do a watch party for it.
I've never wanted a jet ski more in my life after I saw that movie.
Yeah, the action
Yeah.
sequence are those.
It's a fun one. Kind of your creature feature kind of a thing, with
Yeah.
everything going on. But no, it's definitely a fun one for sure. Um, sorry guys, I'm gonna run through the comments just real quick because I know I fell way behind here. But Moonbeam was saying I buy a lot of reuse in stores and yard sales. Yeah, absolutely. You make your dollar go a lot farther when you can buy some of those good, nice used movies. So nothing is wrong with that. Prince was asking. He threw in another question for y'all. He said, if you don't mind, Corey, do you recommend the gentleman Texas? Y'all get Yakuza Princess, Sean, I Am a Hero, and Juno, you'll have Man of Tai Chi. Have you
Is
any of
I
you
Am a
seen?
Hero? Is that a Jet Li movie?
I
Or am
seen
No,
I
Tai
thinking
Chi.
of something else?
I Am a Hero. For this
I
one, I was
seen the
just talking
man
about
Tai
the other
Chi.
night. It's kind of a zombie. It's Japanese zombie movie, and it's a good one. I think as long as you're good with subtitles.
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with that's never an issue.
Yeah, if that's the one I'm thinking
Yeah,
that I was just talking about, I Am a Hero it's a zombie movie. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It's like horror action. It's like 2 hours and 6 minutes, but I'm intrigued right now. Really am.
He likes throwing out some recommendations. So you all can look at them, see if it's something for you. If not, that's cool too. But
yeah,
if you want to check it out,
I mean,
the
I'm
man
sure
Tai
this is
Chi.
on what movie?
I seen that one.
which one?
I seen the man Tai Chi movie that he
Okay,
recommended.
okay,
I seen that one. That's where Keanu Reeves is playing a bad guy. in that one.
Okay. I haven't seen that one. I didn't know for sure.
Yeah, thank you for the recommendation though. Like I'm legitimately like intrigued right now just from looking that up real quick.
Yeah. Absolutely. Sorry, I'm trying to run through here quick. Like I said,
That's fine.
you have to put up with me stumbling through all this stuff. So,
Dude,
and
you know,
again,
that's another thing with streams. I feel like they're always going to be a work in progress.
oh yeah,
Like, I feel
absolutely.
more comfortable with streaming. Like, the anxiety's not, like, really there. Like, oh, I'm about to go live. You know, oh my God, can't deal with all this. Like,
I'm not gonna do
but,
it.
like,
I can't do it. I can't do it.
it's so much easier now, especially, you know, with Texas and Juno. It just feels natural to do it. But there's still things that I, you know, want to work on and get kinks out and stuff. And,
Yeah.
you know.
Mika was saying, love how everyone's collections are different and unique to their taste. It's always fun finding something cool out in the wild. Yep. Jim, violence is never the answer until it is. Yep. All right. I'm going to skip through some of these. So again, everybody, I know I've said it 24 times already, but if I miss something important, I apologize. I'm just kind of seeing who's here or not. Ready or not, 4K please, Jeff was saying. Yeah, that's kind of funny. That was one that I had in the collection, and we were in a group chat, and somebody was like, did you see what this is going for on eBay? And I'm like, oh crap, I have that in my collection. And I was kind of joking, but kind of not. But I'm like, should I sell it? Because it was going for a decent amount. But I'm gonna keep her. I'm gonna keep it. But Gizmo in here. What are you gonna say, Gizmo? I still think I threw more money in the toilet by paying $15 for Barbie. I know that's one of his
that's an expensive
movies.
That's an expensive table coaster right there. $15.
Jeff was saying, I think the Hitcher will be the my most expensive purchase. Yeah,
it looks like it's worth every dollar, though. Honestly, that's what you're getting. I keep hearing good things about the transfer. I saw today on the Skin Crawlers channel. He unboxed it and was explaining his thoughts on the transfer. So it looks like another flawless release from Second Sight.
Oh, it looks cool. I'll be jealous of whoever's got it.
And it also has books in there, so like you're getting more than just the disc and the little booklet about the movie. You even get like a book with it. So like that's when I feel like you're getting your money worth with it. Like you're not just getting slip covers. You're getting a book, like a physical hardcover book. Which is
it's a cool set for sure.
I think it comes with a hardback and then a thin paperback.
Yeah.
We have Larry in here, the Horror Cat Dad, saying all the cool kids in one place. All the cool kids and me. I'll say I'm and me.
Yeah, it's always good to see Larry here, man. Very supportive guy.
Oh, he's so cool. No, he's a good guy. Jeff was saying now the U.S. could use a release of the Hitcher remake on Blue. One could hope.
Yeah, that is another one I believe is currently out of print.
Sorry, guys. I'm kind of. I always laugh about this in your chat, so we get Rosalia, come on. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I always laugh about that because I always see that in your live streams. But
like one thing I like about Rose is like, I'll be reading comments and I'm like, I guess you could say I'm like in a serious mindset, and then I see her non-serious comment, and I'm always like, "Oh shit!" It'll just like throw me off sometimes.
Yeah, but give you a good laugh, right?
Yeah.
Mika was saying, "Get on watching Coffee Court." I will do that. Maybe I'll have to. Saturday is shot for me, but this weekend, before the end of the weekend, I should try to get that one watched.
Yeah, I want to know what you think, about it.
I've had it since earlier this year. I was with I got to meet up with some good friends, and I was actually at Orbit DVD in Asheville, North Carolina, and bought it there. So I need to get going on that.
I love Orbit.
Mika, I'll try to get
mail
that
order.
bumped up my list. Sorry, Tex, what were you saying?
No, I was saying I love Orbit. I said especially for mail order because I don't think I'll ever make it up to North Carolina.
Well, their mail, they're awesome.
Oh yeah.
They are awesome. And if you get at least 3 things, and it doesn't matter if it's a $5 title or not, if you got 3 things, you can put in a code to get free shipping.
Yeah, they changed that though. I guess.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, I forgot what they're doing now. I think it's just a certain amount, or whatever.
It's been a little bit since I ordered from them.
But I just got an email from them a few days ago, and they said that they were changing that policy. But it's actually better, I think, what they're doing. I think.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's good then. Just like you hit a dollar amount threshold or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. You could have 3 $5 movies, or you could have 2 movies that cost more than those 3, and that makes sense if you just hit like a dollar limit. But we got Guy in here, Caveman Movies and More, saying, hey everybody, hit the like button for this great group of characters. Yeah. Mika was saying, love getting recommendations for films. I do too. Nope, I do too. They don't always hit, but I love getting the recommendations because it gets you out of your. Sometimes I get in a rut and I don't see outside of that little circle I'm in, and somebody can throw something out that I'm like, oh, that's way out there, but you might end up finding
somebody to watch something different.
Yeah, absolutely.
See, the thing is, there's so many movies, it's impossible to see them all, especially if you're a fan of all genres.
Yep.
And for me, I tend to forget about certain movies that might be pretty important. And when I hear people's recommendations, it might not be something that's like new right off the bat, but it's like, oh, these are good reminders. It's our head can't, mentally remember it all. There's only so much time in a day to really get around to everything. And like what you just said, though, I kind of get like that. Like I will be aware of certain movies, but it does come down to my mood on what I feel like watching. Like I could get a new release in the mail. I could get a brand new release in the mail, and I'll be like, all right, I'm gonna watch that tonight. But then like last minute, something hits me where like I don't feel like watching that right now, and then I'm back to my collection or something.
Yep, absolutely. Miss K-Man, hello, saying howdy everyone. Hi Russ, Sean, Juno, and my favorite NPR voice. How are we doing?
Yeah.
We're doing good. We're doing good. Wow, the chat is hopping tonight. I'll say that. That's my old guy analogy for it, but it's going. I can't keep up with it, so I know I'm skipping a lot of them. Everybody, thank you, and it's nothing against if I'm jumping past something you have. Mika was saying it takes a lot to scare us, and The Dark and the Wicked did that. That was the one you were just talking about, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh man.
I still have yet to see that one.
I love it. It's just wow.
If you're saying that sets you back, and if Mika and Kira say that sets them back, I might have to work my way up to that one.
That's what I'm thinking right now. I'm feeling like I need to see that sooner than later, just based on hearing that.
Chester's in here saying, Abigail, I enjoyed, but the ending was overhyped. Yeah, I can see that. What were you going to say, Texas? Sorry.
I just recently saw Substance over the weekend. And
I haven't seen. A lot of people are talking about that.
I think that's my favorite of the year because I really liked Long Legs, but this, it was good, and I'm not giving anything away, but I'll say one of the reasons why I liked it so much was that it was very coherent. They didn't, dick you around on like a lot of, things, and the ending was really good. It's, when people see it, you'll see like there's a comparison to a couple of like similar type movies, but that's what it is with most movies today, because you can always say, oh yeah, that has, because there's kind of parts of like Seven and Long Legs and it kind of has a Silence of the Lambs feel to it and stuff like that. And there's a few movie things like that in substance, but I thought it was very, very original, and it's just like, whoa. So,
No, I haven't seen that. One of my favorites. I have not seen that one yet, so I can't speak to that one. But I really liked in the theaters Late Night with the Devil. That was one.
oh yeah,
I had a good time
that was
with.
excellent.
But I
That's a
so
surprise.
we got a couple thumbs up. All right. All right.
Yeah, I would agree on that.
I'm not saying greatest movie ever, but I had a really good time with it. It was a good theater experience for me. We'll say that. But, Larry was saying Nefarious is awesome, Juno. Yep. And Holland's saying I like the first 2/3 of Bo movie. Could have been 2 hours.
That's how I kind of feel about it when I watch it. I'm like, all right, I could probably do without this. We could cut this down a bit. Overall, I just think the movie could have been a little bit more, a little less of what we got. But
yeah,
I don't know, man. I know I blind bought that. You know, I do like what Ari Aster is doing as a filmmaker. I've pretty much liked everything he's done so far, so I did a blind buy on it. And I was like, all right, apparently this is labeled as horror comedy, but I was not really expecting to laugh as hard as I did. Like, I had stomach pain from laughing at certain scenes. Like, especially when he's trying to get back in his apartment and that crazy guy with the tattoos is like constantly trying to get him before he gets in his apartment.
Was too much for you?
Yeah, that's oh man, that's there's certain things that happens in that movie. It's just like, wow, this is funny, man.
Yeah. Gizmo's like, Corey, why do you hate new films? I don't hate new films, but I'm starting to because you're rubbing off on me, Gizmo. You hate new movies, so you're rubbing off on me.
You know, for me, like everything that Gizmo says is 100% not serious. So that's the vibe I get from him.
Put a little salt with it, take it with a grain of salt. Is that what you say? Or, yeah, we always like to joke around with each other. What are you saying, Jim?
I'm saying like that's a question that everybody says on YouTube. Like even other YouTubers say that like they compare how we had great classics back in the day, and then compared to like movies where you could see like how the movies are not really popping in, like how everybody's going to see them. Like you could see them nowadays where people are not probably entertained by them because of how they're writing the characters nowadays. Like especially like if it's a movie coming from either Disney or Fox or someone.
Yeah,
because they're the company that's kind of like in the low point for some movies. Besides like having hits like Alien, Romulus, and Deadpool, Wolverine, but they've been kind of having downhill titles like especially with their Marvel's current stuff. It's just like people are just tired of like all the woke jokes and just the forced humor that's not really funny. Like it doesn't have a punch. It doesn't have a humor to it because they're just forcing just stuff that doesn't make you laugh.
correct.
And also like the thing that they do with characters, they kind of just give you unlikable characters that you have to follow. But most of the time, like you're following them, I thought, and you're thinking they're gonna have an arc, but they don't have an arc. They're missing that arc where you want to like them, but you're just stuck with an unlikable character that's either abusive or just a jerk throughout the movie. And like that's what I don't like about new movies where they just don't really build the characters that much well.
Right.
But some movies do that where you have good characters that you follow. Like Deadpool Wolverine had some of that.
I still need to get out to watch that. I haven't seen that yet. I'm like the one person that has not seen it yet.
Yeah.
I'm not even a big superhero guy, and I haven't seen a single Deadpool movie.
Not any of them?
Nope,
oh, they're funny. I'm not saying greatest movies in the world, but they're funny.
Like I do like the superhero genre. Like I'm mostly like Batman, Superman, like whatever cliche stuff, really. But it's just not, superhero movies just aren't really big for me. Like I do watch them from time to time. So like Deadpool is just not something that stood out for me.
No,
Like
I
I'm
can
sure
understand
I
that.
will get around to them eventually.
I can understand that, but I think that's one that you can enjoy without liking superhero movies, because if you're into like there's a lot of dark humor, like sarcasm, like just funny moments that I think even when you're not a superhero fan, you can get a laugh
Yeah.
out of it.
So like what you're saying is it's more than just a superhero. It provides, other things than just a straightforward action superhero film.
I would say so.
Yeah.
There's some good action, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of dark humor and like some sarcasm that
Comedy.
yeah. So like even if you have
Dog
no
comedy in it.
yeah, I would agree with Juno. There's a lot of comedy with it where if you're not even a superhero fan, there's some there's some stuff in there. There's a lot of jokes, little jabs, things like that are thrown throughout the movie that I think you could have a good time with. But
Okay.
And one thing
Top-
I'll say about Deadpool,
yeah,
two words: Leslie Uggams, hands down. That's the she's one of the best things about those movies.
Blind
Like,
Owl.
yeah, Blind Owl.
Blind
She's
Owl.
just amazing.
But
There-
Moonbeam just said Deadpool is technically an anti-hero movie, so you're safe, Sean. Okay,
there you go.
Yeah,
thanks.
because his character,
I'm so
it's
far
an
behind on chat.
anti-hero.
Sorry.
Yeah, his character's pretty much anti-hero. He's
Yeah,
pretty much like little dark, but also a bit of a hero.
Yeah, and there's a lot of the comic books in the past. The storylines for him are pretty. He's not a good guy. He's pretty bad. So, but I think a lot of those can play well. I mean, you can even say that about Logan, the movie Logan. I think that was the first like Wolverine
Yeah.
where they went for it and did the rated R, and he definitely is not like good guy, but you root for him. It's the anti-hero where they got their flaws, they have a lot of negative things in their past, but you still root for them in certain situations. So have you seen Logan, Sean?
No, yeah, Wolverine movie. I still haven't seen that one.
You haven't seen Logan?
Like I said, I'm not big on the superhero genre, really.
I think, well, okay, that's another one. And Texas and Juno can jump in and say I'm out of my mind, but I think that's another one. Even if you're not a superhero fan, I think you can enjoy that movie.
Like I know I've
Juno
seen
and Texas. Tell me I'm stupid or not.
No, heck no, Corey. I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, I just
Logan.
I just recently rewatched it because I just saw it twice in the theater, and then I recently, before I saw Deadpool and Wolverine, I rewatched Logan, and I mean that. I can't think of her name right now, but the girl that plays Laura.
Oh yeah.
Jesus, man, she is so good in that movie. The whole thing just works.
They keep calling her that, even though her real name's Laura, but they keep calling her X-23.
Yeah, I don't call her X-23. I call her Laura.
I'm like kind of thinking back on like superhero movies and stuff, and like I do remember like growing up in the 90s, like I did like X-Men a lot. I used to collect the toys and stuff. Like I clearly remember shoveling snow just to fucking get money together for X-Men toys and stuff. Like, that's how obsessed I was with it. But I remember when the first two X-Men movies came out, I was kind of disappointed by them. And that's when I started to get away from superhero comic book movies. Like, I was just like, I don't think these are really good movies here. Like, this X-Men 2 was kind of cool at the opening with Nightcrawler and stuff, but I just felt like the movie fell flat on its face. And going forward with the X-Men movies, I didn't really give them a shot, and I hear people talking about them, and it seems like no one's ever happy with them. But, like, that's kind of a factor in why I got away from superhero and comic book movies.
I think that's where those fell flat, because anything you pull Wolverine into, and it would be the same with Deadpool, but they did it with Deadpool, is Wolverine needs to be rated R. I mean, that's his character. And so when you're doing, you know, softball PG,
It's an R-rated
PG-13,
character in
yeah,
the comic.
he's an R-rated character. Yeah, so I can see where that would fall flat.
But like, I know X-Men. A lot of people starting to get to liking those movies, but the side note that it is directed by a crappy person.
Yeah. Yeah. No, for sure. I know I was excited when those movies came out though, just because X-Men was like one of those comics that I kind of followed when I was younger, and like the animated series when they had that back in the 90s. So it was cool to have that, but yeah, you could just tell it was like they clipped the claws on Wolverine until they got to Logan. They didn't let him truly be Wolverine until they got to rated R. So.
But I mean, just hearing your reaction, like you haven't seen Logan, like that's like, oh,
so
okay, give this a watch.
I will be okay if you watch that and say like, nah, I didn't like it. So that being said, I will not be offended. But that to me is like what Wolverine should have been, like going into like they took that one. It was definitely rated R, and they went with it, and I think it was good for his story. But
So from the get-go, it's basically like Logan should have been like one of the first adaptations or whatever for
I just think, I think there's a couple characters, Wolverine and Deadpool are two of them right off the bat, that I think you got to do rated R movies with them. And so Deadpool, they have done that ever since, and maybe there were some fights to get it to that point, but yeah, Wolverine was pretty tamed down in the original X-Men movies, but I still liked them quite a bit. So
yeah, I know what you mean. There's like small things and elements throughout it that you like, but as a whole, it's just far from perfect.
Yeah. Did we lose Juno?
Yeah, that happens sometimes with him. He's, like I don't even have great internet service, but for some reason when I use StreamYard, I really don't have many issues. But like I get bad internet. Sometimes his internet will, pause and crap out there for a second, but
that's all right. The technology sucks. We have that a little bit.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's the part you can't control.
No, you can't do anything about it. So no need to get worked up about it. Just that's out of your hands. And I've had instances where I've done it too, where I'm just like, I had it on StreamYard where I could not go live. They're just like, our servers are too busy. You can't go live. And I'm like, and so I was actually getting in the chat and like, sorry guys, they said I can't do it yet, and there's nothing you can do about it.
That's happened to me before, but for me, like I always just like, let me refresh it. I refreshed it and it works.
Oh, cool. I fell way behind again.
I will be right back.
Are you guys still okay? No, that's cool. I was just gonna say, are you guys still okay? I know we're pushing.
No, I'm good.
Time a little bit.
I'm okay.
We don't. Okay.
I could do like another half hour.
Okay, I don't want to take you any longer than you want to. I'm just one of those guys that it's it's hard to make me shut up and shut up.
But like,
me too.
I could do like another 30, 45 minutes. I could do, because then I'm gonna have to take the dog out and do a few things here.
No worries. And like I said, you'll never hurt my feelings if you're like, hey, let's kind of do another question and wrap her up here.
I had last night when I was doing the stream, he had to take off, and so it was just me and P. Rich. I guess he was doing a stream, and then everybody came over from his stream, and so that worked out. But I mean, it's weird because sometimes when I'm doing streams, even when Sean and Juno are with me, I mean, and even on their streams, it's just weird. Sometimes I get this weird like adrenaline, this weird euphoric like adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
And I'm just, and I'm not drinking, and I'm not, I don't do drugs of any kind except, the medicines that are prescribed to me by my doctor, just to make that clear, but sometimes I'm just like, it'll hit me and I'm just like, and so, but I realized, I need to calm down. Not that I'm doing anything anyway, but it's just
No.
weird. I get this weird kind of thing. But so last night, everybody came in and I was overjoyed because I was like, fuck, Sean's not here. I don't know what I'm going to, say and everything. And then this friend of Liv's was in there, this girl in the net. She was hilarious. She didn't really get my sense of humor, because she'd never really been in the chat. And she's like, I'm wearing this sunflower dress and some heels. And I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, this must be, it's like almost after midnight, what the heck? But I was like, whatever, and I just, I go, I'm wearing a bloodstained clown suit. And then and then she said something to Liv about, this sunflower dress. And I said, last time I looked, I don't think I have one. And then Liv, she totally is like laughing. She goes, I'd love to see you in one. And she goes, then Nanette's like, oh, I was talking to Liv. And I go, I know. I said, I'm a ridiculous person, and it's my sense of humor. Just don't worry about it.
No, absolutely. I get that way too, where it's kind of a little bit of a rush where you're just nothing else is involved, but you're doing this, and there's a little bit of like the nervousness and excitement and like fun of just hanging out with people. So you got kind of a mix of that. And no, I've been there before too, where all of a sudden it's like, oh wow, how long have I been going? Maybe we should wrap her up, but you kind of get that little boost. It's a good feeling. But yeah, no, I've been there for sure.
I think it's like a dopamine thing,
Yeah,
where
for sure.
like you're having like a clash of different emotions. Like I feel like I know what Tex is
fear
talking
and
about.
excitement. It's like
Yeah,
fear and
like I kind
excitement
of like
together.
before we would go live, like I used to feel that way. I'd be like, I think my heart's about to jump out of my chest right now, and like.
Yep.
But the more I've done these streams now, I don't feel that much anymore, which is kind of a good thing, honestly.
Yeah.
I just have excitement now, which is normal. But I used to get
Excitement.
anxiety sometimes, like sitting there thinking, like, oh man, when I hit that fucking, I hit that live button, it's really gonna be time to go live. It's like in my head, like.
I was getting that forever when I did that. I kept on joking with people that I needed to do or find a different countdown thing, because that music that was with it would like induce anxiety for me. Man. I'd hear that dun 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 or whatever that music, and I'm just like, oh crap, we're going. It's the go time.
Yeah.
But I'd get that way for sure. But Prince was saying, "Oh, Sean, I have another one for you. The Gangster Cop, the Devil. That's a good movie." Yep.
Yeah, that's a really
I've never heard of that one. Like
That's
closest thing to that title is that Korean movie, The Good, the Bad, and the Weird. That came out in like 2008.
This is a Korean as well.
Is it? See, dude, Korean movies are up my alley. Like what
Koreans
do in cinema is all about what I really like. Like I can get into the martial arts Korean movies. Like it's I really like what Korea's doing right now.
I've dug into
even that movie Parasite that came out in 2019.
Oh yeah.
That winning Best Picture, I thought that's so important for them. In the world of cinema, it really is. Like I feel like Parasite winning that award has really opened the doors for more Korean movies to be made and stuff, and to be focused on and actually go out and see.
Well, and the reason I've seen so many of those are people I've ran into on YouTube. Like people I've been talking like in spots like what we're doing right now, and they start throwing out titles, and I'm like, oh, I'll check it out, and then I'm like, oh crap, that was really good, and like, oh, what was that other one they said, and like digging in further into it. And
if you've never seen Bluebeard, that movie is amazing.
Which one?
Bluebeard.
I remember seeing the Blu-ray on Amazon for that like months ago. I didn't seen the movie though.
Oh, this is one I know. Mika, you've mentioned this so many times. I gotta watch this one. I have to watch this one this year, or I will feel like I let you down because you've mentioned it so many times. But the favorite of the year for them was Oddity right now, and we are seeing the Substance on Saturday. But Oddity, I know I gotta watch that one. You've said that one so many times, and I have not watched that one yet.
I think one for me that stands out like what were you 2024? Damn, the movie's almost like 15 years old at this point. But have you seen I Saw the Devil?
I was just gonna mention
Oh
that.
yeah, really good. Yeah,
Oh man.
yeah, that's a good
Dude,
one.
that first
I
time
have
I
it. I
saw
have it
that
back here.
movie, I was like, at the time, I was living in a house with roommates, and I was watching it by myself in the living room. And there was a couple scenes that just like I was really
Oh, there
into the
was some.
movie. And I just remember going like, "Oh my god!" Like roommates coming out, go, "Dude, I'm sleeping upstairs." I'm like, "Dude, I'm sorry. There's just some movie I'm watching right now." It's like really got me on the edge of my seat here. But like when you see the payoff at the end, and you see the guy who's had to deal with all this, like how he laid it and relieved he is, and those final credits, it's just what a gut punch of a movie, man.
Oh yeah, no, that's really good. I have it. I was trying to be clever and pull it and show it, but it's back there somewhere. But I
Yeah.
I can't look that quickly. But I do have it back there, and that's another one that was recommended to me, and I'm like, oh dang, that was. Yeah, they don't pull punches on some of their movies, the Korean movies, when they.
Right. See, that's another thing I like about the Korean movies. Doesn't really matter the genre. It's just like they're not afraid to deliver what they want. You know, they're
Yeah,
the graphics. So what? We're gonna put it in your face. You know, it's I don't know. When I saw the devil though, like it was like one scene where he had him hooked up in the air and he rips into his Achilles with that scalpel. I was like, God damn, that is rough. Like, oh man.
there's multiple scenes in that movie where I was like, dang, they're giving it to you, and they don't pull back when there's, that's one thing that people have mentioned before. They're like the difference between like, even when you're comparing some of these Korean movies to U.S. movies, there's certain scenes where a U.S. movie will pull away the shot of the something actually happening, and those Korean movies they show you all the way through that it happening, whatever that action
Yeah, they're
is.
not
What were you saying, Juno? Like,
not sugar. It's
yeah,
just they don't sugarcoat the violence. They show the audience what they're paying their money for to watch.
yeah, yeah. It's like what's going to happen. We're just showing you it all the way through, and yeah,
Just
there's a lot of movies in the
because
U.S. where they would pull away from that.
yeah, because
Very true.
many filmmakers say that they're like, oh, it's more scary. You don't see it, but it only works for older movies. But I feel like when modern technology, because you get more special effects now, I feel like just do it, just show it already.
Yeah.
Like it's already there.
Well, movies like that one, I Saw the Devil. There was so many that they showed all the way through. I mean that, and somebody could say like that's a good movie, but I was like sitting there cringing. Like I would be like, "Oh gosh," I was like, "Is that really happening right now?" And yeah, no, that's a good one for sure. Moonbeam was saying, you're talking about, I think about Deadpool. He was originally a supervillain in the X-Men. Yep.
Yeah, they first introduced him in Origins, which everybody says that's the worst X-Men movie because it was dealing with the writer's strike in 2008 and 9.
Oh, I got you. Jeff was saying, so I'm
That's why
actually.
it was.
Go ahead, Juno. What were you saying, Juno?
Oh, nothing. Sorry, just the video echoes a bit.
Oh, sorry. It's probably my voice. I'm causing problems.
Yeah, sometimes I think Juno might get a delay here and there, so I don't think he like hears the dialogue on the
That's why.
stream
Oh,
sometimes.
okay.
It's like he doesn't get it like
Yeah,
right away sometimes.
yeah, because right,
Uh,
like there's times I'm talking and then somebody's talking. I'm like, oh, did I finish or something? Because there's
Yeah.
delays.
just say, Corey, shut up. I'm talking.
No, see, that's one thing like with streaming,
It's
like
all
it took
cool,
me a
man.
while to understand that with Juno. Like sometimes like it sounds like he's cutting me off, but he's not doing it intentionally because there's like a small delay on his end sometimes. So it
Yeah,
just happens, man. It's not his
Yeah.
fault. It just happens,
Oh,
man.
it's technology stuff. It's nothing,
Yeah.
but
yep.
Jeff was saying I'm in the middle of a huge comic book rewatch. Logan is definitely on the list. Tex. So he must. Yeah, he hasn't watched that one yet.
I know one thing, this time that we've been streaming so far, I've got a small list of recommendations right now.
It's fun.
So.
It's fun. It's fun to do this. I love doing it, but that's a problem though too, where my watch list gets bigger and bigger, and it's like, am I going to get to all of this? Um, but Larry was saying I'm excited because it's like hanging with my friends. Yeah, doing the live streams for sure. Mika was saying, "Love, I Saw the Devil. Great film. Yep, brutal, emotional. It is for sure." That was one of the earlier ones where somebody recommended to me, and I saw that, and I'm like, "Dang, this is what they're bringing." I'm gonna watch
Yeah, I think
some
it's
more of them.
I think it's 2010 or 2011, but when that movie came out and I just got through it, like it just really affected me and lingered with me. Like, dude, I was going to work like the next couple of days, and that movie was just on my mind. And then gave it a watch again a couple of days later because it was on my mind so much. I'm watching this again, dude. Like,
Yeah,
did this movie really happen? Like, did I
yeah,
really
right,
see this?
right. Mika was also throwing out there the Wailing. That's one I bought, and I have not watched it yet. I need to see
I
that one.
still haven't seen it, so don't feel bad.
So, Tex, sounds
Yeah.
like you've seen it.
Oh yeah, I saw it in the theater actually, and I enjoyed it. I'd say like the first thing that got me into Korean cinema though was the Vengeance trilogy, Sympathy for Mr.
Yeah,
Vengeance, Old
yeah,
Boy,
old boy.
and Lady Vengeance, and those three movies are just, whew, I mean, especially Old Boy.
I've just heard with the
Yeah.
Wailing, I've been told you need to watch it more than once.
Yeah, I
Okay.
would say that. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if that's true or not. I haven't seen it, but somebody was like, somebody that recommended it to me. They said watch it more than once. I said watch it more than once.
I know I saw the trailer from Well Go USA. I think it is a Well Go movie or whatever. But that's another one it's on my list to get around to. But since we're mentioning it tonight, it sounds like I got to get there sooner than later on that
Me
one.
too. Me too. Apparently, both of us got to get to that one. So, got Sailor Outlaw in here saying today's my 32nd birthday. Well, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Yeah.
I got
Happy
a few more.
32 years.
I got a few more trips around the sun than you do, but a happy birthday to you.
That's a good way to put it. A few more trips around the sun. I don't hear that one often.
That's old guys saying that.
I like
happy,
that.
happy birthday to Sailor. Chester is saying, question for all you guys on the panel. What was the worst John Carpenter movie you guys got tired of watching?
That's an easy question for me, man. I won't answer right away, but that's an easy one for me. And I own it, and I never watch it, but I do own it, and it's a movie I just don't care for at all.
I gotta look. I'm trying to think.
Is it his terrible or is it his worst movies or or
Maybe
his
just the one
best
that,
movies?
maybe just the worst that you just got tired of watching. Like
Oh,
you don't have a desire to go back to see it. Maybe.
Yeah, he's
If I'm
using the
looking at
word
that right.
worst. Yeah, he's saying like, what was the worst? So in your personal opinion, what was the worst John Carpenter film?
Or like what's a John Carpenter film you don't have a huge desire to go back to watch, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And I love John Carpenter, but he's another director that's got his masterpieces, some mediocre ones, and then some other ones where it's like, oof.
They live back there on my poster, but
yeah, that's right. I do see that now.
But I know like his latest movie, like the last movie he directed, like everybody would pick that, but like the one that he has in the 90s or 80s. So.
That's a tough one. I might have to come back to that. See, I said this show had unlimited passes, so that goes for me too. So,
all right, I guess I'll answer.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the 1995 movie, I think it is, Village of the Damned. I cannot stand that movie. Yeah, 95 movie, Village of the Damned. Just, hate that movie, man.
Couldn't do it.
It's just I just find it dull and boring and uneventful, and the kids are not menacing or scary. And I can say Christopher Reeves, isn't he in that? Christopher Reeves, I believe Christy Alley, I think's in it.
Yeah, it's
Like,
one of the
they
classic
do their
movies.
best with
I've
what
seen it.
they're dealt with in that movie. I know Mark Hamill's got a pointless role in it as like a cop or something. I don't know, but it's just when I watch it, it's just like such a zero substance movie. It doesn't even feel like a Carpenter movie to me. But it's just one Carpenter film. If I were to rank his movies, it would be damn near last with like The Ward and maybe Ghost of Mars or something. Like some
Ghost
one
of
of those
Mars.
movies.
That could be one. Yeah, Ghost of Mars could be one.
From I know like when we discussed about vampires, like like I would say it does have some gory effects. It's not CGI in it, which I appreciate, but it's just I don't know. It's just I never got into it because I kind of found it similar to From Dusk Till Dawn because that like it came around the same time. I'm not sure,
Yeah.
but From Dusk Till Dawn, I just kind of like I kind of was more invested with that one more. Like vampires, I kind of wish there was like
No.
You fell out again, Dan. He'll be back in
Cliffhanger.
a minute.
Cliffhanger. He was telling me something.
Yeah, he'll be back in a minute, though.
All right. Jeff was saying, I think my copy of The Wailing came from you, Corey. It's the blue. It's not been watched, but yeah. No, and Scolder's in here saying hello. Hello, Scolder.
Yeah,
We
Scolder
got it.
20.
There we go.
I'm back, so yeah.
No, it's all right.
I was in the middle of discussion, and then they kicked me out.
It kept us on our seats, on the edge of our seats. We were waiting to hear what you were going to say.
Just when StreamYard
Yeah,
knocks
it's
me
just
in.
like
Get back up.
CWO
yeah,
pulls me
like
back in.
yeah, like what I was saying about earlier, like how we all have different opinions. Like we're not gonna like every movie, but like I know Sean likes vampires, but I'm not really big on it.
Yeah.
It's just it's not really like one of those vampire movies that I was really big on. It's just to be like I kind of wish it was written a little bit better with some of the like have a character arc, but all in all, I still like appreciate John Carpenter's work, like him doing a vampire movie. Like at least he's doing something different after he did like Village of the Dam and that Invisible Man movie he did
Yeah.
with Chevy Chase, which he was
Yeah.
trying to do something different, but that was a big flop.
Yeah. I think that Invisible Man movie was more of like that script was thrown at him. And I think it was like an obligation thing where it was like,
It's like, do
oh, you
this.
Yeah,
said
Do
you were
this.
going to do this project for us once you get done with this. And sometimes directors get themselves tied into situations
yeah,
like that. Like, man, I got to do this stupid studio film in order to
like
get this done.
I think sometimes it's like that where they get thrown a script like that and like you're doing this. And
Wes
if you
Craven.
do this, you can do the one you want to do,
Yeah,
Wes Craven did.
exactly. Yeah,
They did
that's
that
what
with
kind
Wes
of
Craven.
finances, the personal project they want to work on in a way.
Yeah, they they did that with Wes Craven with that music. He did like a music movie with Meryl Streep or something. Music of the Heart. Like
Oh,
that
Okay.
was a different movie
I
that
forgot about
Wes
that one.
Craven did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're like,
I
do
Yeah.
forgot
this
that
and
was
you
a
get,
Wes Craven movie when
it's like, do this and you get the money for the thing you want to do.
See, that's what makes
yeah,
special features and documentaries interesting
Oh, yeah.
and it's helpful. Like, it makes the movie has more value to the movie once you get this backstory info. And
Well, you can watch that movie and be like, why the world did Wes Craven do that movie? And then you have the behind the scenes or the backstory extra features,
yeah,
and you'd be like, and he could be like, yeah, this was if I did this, I could get funding to do this kind of a thing, and you're like, oh, okay, I understand.
It gives you a better understanding of why things are done the way they are, why a certain project came arise or whatever. And
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you how many times where like I watched a movie, let's say I like it, but once I get done with the features, I'm like, wow, I didn't know this, that, and the other thing, and I just have more of an appreciation for this now just from watching those features.
Yep. Moonbeam was saying she likes Ghosts of Mars. Yep. There
I
you go.
like it too, like on a corny level. Like I find it to be watchable, it's a corny sci-fi film,
Hey, Steve.
but it is far from being like, yeah, award-winning movie here, Ghost of Mars, right?
But you can have some
I kind
fun
of
with it,
wish
right?
I kind of
Yeah,
wish Jason Stamos was the lead
Yeah.
because he was
you know,
that was like a young Jason Stamos right there in that John Carpenter Ghost of Mars film.
it's funny. Like we were talking about Blu-rays and like being out of print and going for stupid money, but we're talking about Ghost of Mars, and I'm pretty sure that Blu-ray is out of print and goes for stupid money right now. So let's look it up real fast and see what the
In
current price is.
Indicator, as long as you have a region free player. Well, a lot of theirs are even, they say they're region blocked, but a lot of them you still can play. Indicator has a copy of that. I almost got on their last sale when I bought a few Indicator titles. They have
So
Ghost of Mars
that's
on there.
the Indicator release. That's in print then, right?
Yeah. Or it
Because
was at least a couple months ago, anyway.
the Mill Creek Blu-ray, the standard U.S. Mill
Oh,
Creek
yeah,
Blu-ray.
that's probably out.
Yeah, I have that. It's out of print. They want $131 for it.
Oh,
Can you
no,
imagine
no,
imagine being like, yeah,
no,
$130, Ghost of
no,
Mars, what's up? Like,
no, no, thank you. I'm sorry. I don't care what
No
No.
movie it
special
is.
features on it.
Yeah, very standard release, like the bare bones, no features, and they want $130 for it because it's out of print.
Yeah, nah, I'm sorry. I don't care how much I like a movie. There's no way I'd be doing that. But Indicator, I'm not saying it's going to like be like dirt cheap, but I mean, they have a copy of it that you could get like way less than that.
Yeah, I think the
Um,
Indicator release is like roughly $25. That's what Indicator titles will go for. If you could, well, sometimes they'll be
yeah,
more money than that if you're looking in the wrong area.
right. So I'm not saying they're like not dirt cheap, but they're not 100 plus, or something. But yeah, I saw they had that on there. I almost got it. The last sale, they have some decent sales if you watch on theirs, but the trick is not everything can play on every player. Some of them are truly region B locked, and you gotta have a region free player to watch them.
Yeah.
I do have one, so that's okay for me, but um, you just got to be careful with that if you're buying some of those things.
But yeah, like speaking of John Carpenter and like physical media, this is the latest thing I bought because it was $7.99 on Amazon, and this isn't his best movie. I know some people hate this one, but this is something I just personally needed on Blu-ray for the John Carpenter collection, and that's Dark Star.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah, some people will really be like, "You really like that?" Like, not exactly, but I still find the movie to be watchable
Right.
and enjoyable on a certain level. And it's Dan O'Bannon's and John Carpenter's student film. Really, this
Yeah.
is their early days. Like you really can't, like, I don't know. I feel like you have to at least be able to give it some kind of pass just based on the fact that they were still in film school when they made this movie.
Yeah. No, for sure.
But yeah, it's a little, it's a comedy and to an extent. It's goofy, but it's their early days of filmmaking. What do you expect?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
for sure. Oh, we got Jeff saying, "Oh my, OMG, Dark Star for under $10." He was excited
Yeah,
about
that's
that one.
why I was like, all right, that's cheap enough to finally buy it. Because like for the longest time, it was like $20, and I think this is it's a VCI entertainment release, so it's
Yeah.
bare bones, but it does have bonus features though. It's got some interviews, but it's fairly standard.
Steve was saying, yes, I bought that version of Dark Star not too long ago to upgrade my DVD. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I
I,
was like, it's one of the last Carpenter films that I don't have on Blu-ray, so that's why I had to get that.
yeah.
Yeah. So, but the one Carpenter film, most of us would not own is The Ward,
Oh,
I
yeah,
and that was sadly his last movie.
yeah.
Yeah, like, I don't think that's his worst movie though. I still think Village of the Damned is worse than The Ward. That's just my personal opinion though. Like I found The Ward to be watchable.
Yeah.
Not great, that's for
Mm.
sure, but I still like I think I probably gave The Ward like a 6 out of 10 with being generous really. But me personally, I don't think The Ward's his worst movie.
Yeah.
But
So
like,
you already,
not like,
oh,
yeah.
what's that, Juno?
I was just gonna add like that there was like not just only his words, but like it was like because like I feel like Carpenter should have like made more movies after that. Like I still like feel like he still had it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to throw another super tough question out to y'all. I don't know if it's too
Mhm.
late for that or if you're game for another one or not. Super tough
Yeah.
question. Super tough question. All right.
Game.
All right, your game. You're going to do a watch along with a friend that maybe isn't the biggest horror fan in the world, but they just maybe haven't seen too many of them. What would you pick for a double feature to show them? If you're like, I want to introduce you to horror movies, to have fun with them, get them into it. Do you have a couple that you really like that you'd be like, this would be they don't even have to be related, so don't like worry about that. Like they can be completely different, but like this would be two I would think would be fun to sit down and watch with you, and I think it would get you into horror movies.
Not a bad question. It is a little tough. I'm like, this
I
can't be that tough.
and if you don't want to do it right now, we can come circle back to it. You can think about it for a little bit too.
No. I have a couple off the top of
It's
my
an
head. But I'm
interesting.
still trying to like look at my films real quick here and see what's.
Because I always had fun with double features. I don't know. I don't get to do that too often, but it's always kind of fun when you can. And they don't have to be like, oh, that really connects with the other one. It could just be two good movies that you have fun time with, But
You know what? I really have to go with one of my favorite horror movies, and the sequel that it has is pretty fun too. I gotta go with Creepshow and Creepshow 2. I
oh,
would have
nice,
to
yeah,
show that to somebody.
yeah,
If somebody just because like I feel like if someone's new to like the horror genre, I think it's important for them to know about horror anthologies and short stories and how they work. So I think Creepshow and Creepshow 2 like would work great. I also consider Creepshow to be the holy grail of horror anthologies, and it's really up there as a top tier horror movie for me. It's another one that's an annual watch, and we will also have a watch party for that this October on the channel for the first Creepshow.
yeah. Those are fun ones. Anthologies are good ones to get into too, because you have so many different stories that are mixed in within that one
Yeah.
movie. But
Yeah, it's I feel like anthologies are good for people that have issues with short attention spans. Like
yeah,
you get
so maybe
you get
I do
these
good with
short
those then.
yeah, you get like short stories. Like
Yeah,
in most horror anthology movies, the stories are about a half hour,
yeah,
depending on how long the movie is.
yeah,
But like it's just you're getting the best of like so many different horror worlds in a way. Like in Creepshow, you got 5 stories. I'd say the last one might not be the best as the other 4, but I still feel like all 5 stories in Creepshow are pretty solid overall.
yeah. I
Mhm.
always think of I like those a lot, and so I'm not trying to take
Yeah.
away from those either. But is it? Oh gosh, is it Dark Tales or what's the other one that's kind of a anthology one?
Tales from the Dark Side?
Tales from the Dark. That's what Dark Side. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking of. Those are fun ones too. That's a fun one too.
Yeah, I grew up on that show, man. That just the intro of that show
Yeah.
used to scare me, dude.
Yep.
That
Yep.
guy's voice would come on and start talking. I'd be playing with toys, and I would come on the TV, and I would drop the toys right away and be like, Oh my God! Like,
What am I witnessing right now?
yeah, man, that intro for Tales from the Dark Side, that man, that was truly terrifying as a kid, man.
No, I'm right there with you, man. Juno or Texas, you have any that you're thinking of?
For
Go for it,
double
Juno.
feature.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, this may be weird, but I would like to do a double feature of Amityville 2, The Possession, and Predator 2.
Oh, nice. Okay, okay. I want to hear about this.
A
Why those two?
sequel,
Because
a sequel double
and they're
feature.
both
I like it.
Yeah, I
I
like
do.
it.
yeah,
I want to hear about it.
because Amityville 2 would be like the first movie where you're in the double feature where it's scary, it's pretty damn creepy, and it's well directed and well acted with some of the cast members,
Yeah.
and it would just spook the audience that doesn't like that you're showing them the horror movie and they'll probably be spooked about it and they'll be creeped out like they're like what the heck was that, and then I show them Predator 2 and then like oh this is a fun action movie and
Oh
Danny
yeah.
Glover saying "fuck you" to Morton Downey Jr. with the camera.
Yeah. I love it.
I
I
like
love
that
it.
scene.
Oh, I love it. I love it. That's a great double feature right there. I might have to do that sometime. But
I
It's
just
it's
like that
funny.
part
It's
in
something I
Predator
never
2.
considered, or I don't think I ever would have came up with the two. Because you got one that's like an action film or whatever, and then you got this straightforward ghost story. Like at the same time, like isn't the Amityville 2? Isn't that more of like the origin story too?
Nice sort of, but they changed like the name of the family and
hmm.
some details.
Yeah.
Like they made the change because like even though it looks like a different family, but it's actually based on the original story. That's why in the trailer it says before the Lutz, there was a family that had the evil curse before, so like it's technically a prequel.
Yeah, speaking of
Nice. I like
Amityville
that.
too, that's definitely a movie I want to get scheduled on the channel at some point too. Amityville too. That's a really good horror movie.
Here we go. We're getting sneak peeks on my channel right now of what's coming up.
Yep.
Texas, what you got, man?
So I was thinking of like two horror films that if I could persuade, Moonbeam to watch them, because I don't think she's seen them. I mean, she does say she likes some horror films. She kind of likes slashers, I guess, a bit. So, but I was thinking, starting off, of course, with the greatest one of all time, Texas Chainsaw, and then probably the second one I'm kind of torn between. I was thinking either Basket Case or Demons.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
I know I'd be like, yeah, dude, definitely. Like, yeah, do that. For someone who hasn't seen, like, yeah, but even like, I mean, like Demons and Demons too, they obviously work together, but Basket Case and Demons, yeah, that could work because they're both absurdly fucking crazy. They really are.
Really mix it up there a bit, but well, I'll tell you what. I'll run through the
Oh,
chat here real quick, and then we can jump into. I'm not rushing anything, but I know I'm pushing the time probably with y'all. But we'll kind of run through here quick, and then we can kind of figure out if we want to wrap her up, which is fine. Like I said, not rushing anything, but I know I'm keeping you probably a bit longer than what we originally talked about, since I can't talk tonight. But
Yeah,
let's
I
see.
can go till like midnight at this point because
Well,
it's like where I'm at. It's 11:40 right now, so I can do like another 20 minutes. But if you want to keep these two on the stream and I go when I gotta go or whatever, that's fine
well,
too.
we can probably wrap her up here. But if you guys don't, when we do go offline, if you can hang on for just a minute, I'd like to talk to y'all
Yeah,
for just a second. But
yeah, no
let's just
problem.
run through the chat here just real quick. And like I said, not rushing it, but that's what's funny when you get some good people on and you just get talking. It's like, oh crap, it's like 3 hours already. I can't believe that that much time has gone by already. But we have some love for yes, Creep Show 1 and 2 are great, but part 3 was a waste.
Yeah, forgettable that third one.
Yeah, Jeff was
Awesome.
saying I'll be finally opening my Creepshow Steelbook for spooky season this year. Cool. That's very cool.
Right for the season.
Yep. Tales for the Crypt is my favorite. Yep, that's good stuff. Moonbeam was saying I've seen a few versions of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but I've seen the original. I was really young and don't remember it. The original Texas Chainsaw was one of the first all-out horror movies I saw when I was a kid, and it freaked me out completely. I don't think I slept for like 2 nights after that one, but I always joke about that a little bit because I grew up in a very rural area, and so when they were showing that farmhouse and out in the country, it reminded me of places that were around us, and so I think that freaked me out even more because I was like, there's a house that kind of looks like that that's out in the country by us, kind of a thing. But yeah, definitely freaky. But well, I'll hit on do you all have anything? I tried to put links for all of your YouTube channels in the description of this one, but do you, whether it's all together or anything that's separate, do y'all have anything coming up that you want to just throw out there to kind of let people know about?
I haven't really prepared my October thing yet but I do know that I'm definitely going to be doing a watch party for Phantom of the Paradise because that was requested by our promotions man, Johnny from the Wild Guys. So I'm going to do that for him. And other than that, I haven't figured out the rest of the month yet.
No, that's cool.
Yeah.
Juno or Sean, either of you?
For October, I just only have like a poll for like four Halloween movies to do an epic watch party rant,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna set that for the 15th. But it seems like the 2018 one is surprisingly winning out of like Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 and 5 and Ends. So like it's looked like it's winning in the poll.
All right.
So I'm setting that for October 15th.
Cool.
That poll was not easy, honestly. It's like, damn, these are like some of the like least favorite Halloween movies here.
Because
I love that.
18, like I was gonna think of putting Resurrection, but I know ultimately that's just it's so bad. It's such a bad movie that everybody knows it's a bad movie. So instead, I just put 2018 because I just in my personal opinion, I used to like it when I first saw it because I was
Yeah.
excited for a new Halloween movie, but after seeing it a few more times afterwards when it came out, it just didn't really click to me, and just some of the stuff was really not really investing. Like some of
Yeah.
the jokes were just kind of cringy that they put in the movie, and I don't know, just the Easter eggs were kind of getting annoying. Like because that's like it's supposed to be a reboot. Why is it referencing the other sequels? Like
Right.
it's supposed to be its own thing.
Right.
Because that's the reason I just like aren't you guys supposed to be doing your own thing? Like just like do Michael escaping? Like why is
Right.
it referencing the other movies? Just but it's just I know it's not a like everybody loves it. Like there's some stuff I love about it, but just, there's a lot of problems with it. But
Hmm.
it seems like that one's being the one that's planned to be winning in the poll.
Okay. It's
Yep.
always interesting when you put those out there and see what people vote on. But
Yeah, I started
Sure.
doing a subscriber poll for each month to let the subscribers vote on one movie to do a watch party for.
Yeah.
And it's like it's almost every time I make a poll, I'm always like, well, these two movies are probably going to be down to the wire. And then, the poll goes, I'm like, wow, I'm dead wrong here. Like
Yeah.
the two on the bottom are going, like, you just never know until you make the poll and do it.
Yep.
But coming up
Got
on my channel, Tomorrow is tomorrow Friday, right? Yeah,
Mhm.
4 days in
hope
a
so.
row.
I hope so. I hope so.
But I've been streaming like every day since like Tuesday right now. But
So
I
you're
love
like
it. It's always,
Iron
it's
Man.
always fun. But yeah, we got Night of the Creeps tomorrow night, and then
Nice.
what else do we have here for the month of October? We have Terrifier, and then
Oh,
we also have the 50th anniversary coming up for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So we will be doing a retrospective live review discussion for that,
no, we were just
and
talking about that.
then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured, there's no way I could just totally ignore the
Yeah.
50th anniversary for Texas Chainsaw
50
Massacre. But
years. That's hard to believe, too. But,
yeah, yeah, after that, we'll have Creep Show. That'll be a first time on the channel. And then the much loathsome, most people hate this movie, but Halloween 3. We'll be watching that one on the channel.
oh, that's still fun. It's still
I love
fun.
Halloween 3, man.
It's
Like I
still
don't care what
fun.
people say.
That's
I love it, man.
It's still fun.
But
I
yeah,
understand, but it's still fun.
to me, it's still the best Halloween themed movie
There
out
you
there.
go,
No matter
Juno.
how,
Juno's
like
got it.
he's got the custom art on it too. It makes it
Yeah,
even look
yeah,
sweeter. But like, I do understand where some people are coming from with the movie. I do get that. But to me, it's just like the atmosphere and the Halloween theme things throughout it, decorations, mask, and everything. It just
yeah.
makes the movie damn near perfect to watch around Halloween.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
It
for sure.
it's one of those movies that everybody hated it. I was one of those people that hated it. Sean said that he hated it. But
Yeah, like when I was a
when you got
kid,
yeah,
there was certain things about it that freaked me out, but like watching it over the years, I would always be like, like I don't really understand this movie. I just overall I did not like the movie. But then when Scream Factory re-released it on Blu-ray and it came with all those features, I found it just like a newfound love for the movie again.
I still remember, I tell people about this where as a kid, I'm old enough where we were renting some VHS tapes of horror movies when we did sleepovers and would hang out and watch a bunch of these horror movies. And watching the first two, I remember we got the third one, and for a second we thought we got the wrong movie. Yeah, kind of a thing like this is this Halloween? Is this the Halloween that we thought we got? Kind of a thing. But I still have fun with it though. But I always joke about that because I remember thinking, "Where's Michael? What's going on here?"
Yeah, that'll throw you off. And a lot of
Yep.
people like to say, like, "Wow, he's technically in the movie" when they run that
Yeah.
commercial, the
Right.
Halloween
Right.
commercial.
Right. Yep. For
But
sure.
I like the movie for what it is now. It's like, even the score and the music for it is probably the best part about it for me.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes a lot. That does a lot for the movies. But Chester was saying Resurrection is so terrible. It's more like a comedy because Buster Rhymes and Tara Banks.
That's If I were to rank the Halloween franchise, that would come in dead last, or actually, it would be a fight between that and Halloween Ends.
Yeah.
But I still think I would take Halloween Ends over Resurrection.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty much the Chucky and the Predator
Yeah.
of the Halloween franchise because it's full comedy.
Yeah. Chester was also saying
Skedaddle.
Halloween 3, not that bad. It's got a great soundtrack. We were just talking about that. Yeah, for sure.
Awesome
Yeah,
soundtrack.
I used to
that's
hate
another.
H3, but I still like it. Yeah.
Like at this point, like with Scream Factory doing what they did with the features, how well they did, that's what made me really just like appreciate the movie a lot more. And now I don't go a Halloween without watching it. Like throughout some point in October, I watch Halloween 3. So that's why we got it scheduled this year on the channel. But to close out the month, though, we do have the 40th anniversary for James Cameron's Terminator, and then we also have the 20th anniversary for Saw.
Nice. Yeah, those are great ones that you hit there. You're talking about the season though. Jeff was saying the same thing. Halloween 3 would be my first fall watch just about every year. It's that perfect way to get into the season. So,
Yeah.
but
The other season, the other season that I see Halloween 3 on is also St. Patty's Day.
Oh yeah,
I was
yeah,
watching
yeah,
them
Right, yeah.
yeah,
because of the silver shamrock
yeah.
logo. Because it's
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah, the Irish Halloween mask. That
Yep.
whole weird
yep,
aspect about
Yep.
it.
I can see that for sure. But
Shanghai.
But well, I tell you what, guys, if you hang on for a second after we go off stream here, I want to talk to you for just a second. But on live right now, I want to say thank you, the three of you, for hanging out with me tonight. Hopefully, I didn't keep you too long, but had a really great time hanging out. We're gonna have to do this again. That's one of those things that it's like, we got to wrap it up, but I have other things I want to talk about. So it's like we'll just have to do it again sometime, right? You know,
Yeah,
if
Dude,
if
I
you get-
would,
if you can put up with me again for some evening.
I
dude,
would love it. I
that's
mean,
go
like
ahead, Ty.
like I said, it's a huge honor for like everything that
uh,
you do, and yeah, I know you're like me. I don't take compliments well either. I'm just kind of like,
Yeah.
yeah, whatever. But no, I mean, serious. Because I mean, once I saw you starting doing these things, I mean, I was like, man, if I could get on there, I'd have so much to like talk about and whatnot. And I mean, it's just it's good to have. I like the way you do things. I mean, I like your
Thank you.
format and everything, and the people that come here, and 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 I'm glad that everybody that usually with us came in as well. I mean, it's it. I'm enthralled. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic, and I'd love to do it again.
I appreciate that completely. And it's very cool. It's fun to hang out with you guys, and
Thank
I
you,
know
Corey.
jumping out into your life, the watch alongs that the three of you do together, and seeing a lot of the names that I see in those chats jump in here. I appreciate that very much. It shows how much they love hanging out and following you, and I appreciate them jumping in here as well and talking. So, not saying I don't know the names, but like many names, I've seen so many
Yeah,
through the night that are ones that I've seen in when I've jumped in and said, "Hey," in your watch alongs, I see them in your chats. So that's very cool that you have a community around you that supports you on your channels, but then they follow you over to my little channel too, and to say hey and hang out and talk with us. And I appreciate that. It's very cool to see, for sure.
Dude, I would have to agree with Tex. There's times like I see your streams going, and you'll either have one or more people on the panel, like it is right now, and it's just, like sometimes I look, I'm like, I can't believe he's only got like 300 some subscribers, because like his chat is thick with people. There's a lot of people in the chat. So that just, and like you do a fairly good job with trying to interact with everyone. You try to
I
acknowledge
try,
everything as
yeah,
much as
try.
possible. And I think that's just always going to be a work in progress, really, as you
Yeah.
do streams. It's just something you juggle and you kind of figure out as you go along the way with them. But even this tonight was not a dull moment.
yeah,
This was
I
active
appreciate
and
that. I appreciate it.
interesting the entire time. I think you did a great job with having us on here tonight, and yeah, highly appreciate it, man. I'm gonna admit this, but what was it, Tuesday night? I was talking to Tex, and he's like, and yeah, we got Corey's on Thursday, and I was like,
You're like, bruh.
I totally forgot about it, dude. I totally forgot because I just
You,
like I'm wrapped
there's
up. I've
so
been
much
busy
stuff
with
going
things,
on.
and I'm kind of like day by day. I'm like, damn, so I'm gonna be streaming 4 days in a row. But that's not the thing to focus on, because like when he reminded me about it, it's like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. I immediately got excited though. Like I was like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I have been looking forward to this, even though I forgot about
Oh,
it.
dude, I would not ever take offense to that because I've done the same thing as well. There's just so much going on, whether it's the YouTube stuff, but then even outside of just real life things going on, it's hard to keep everything in check. So no offense taken because I've done it plenty of times as well. So,
But
but
yeah, overall though, dude, like just keep doing what you're doing, because
thank you.
I can see that sub count is not an issue for you. It's not something you're worried about or you
Yeah.
focus on. But I know if you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to be a channel that's over 1K. It's going to happen. Everyone's journey on here is different. You know,
Oh
it's
yeah.
everybody gets different kind of attention for this. Some people's channels hit for people. Some people visit sometimes, some don't. It's just everyone's journey is different, and it's just really good to see that you're well received from YouTubers here on YouTube, and the
Oh,
community responds well to you. It seems like, and I think you do a pretty good job with what you have going for you right now.
I appreciate that very much. And that's one thing that I've been very thankful for is the people jumping into the chats when I'm doing things. And it's one thing that I notice when the three of you are doing your watch alongs. That's the thing that jumps out to me the most is how active the chats are when in your watch alongs. And I'm like, that's something I want. And I think I I'm not saying like I'm not comparing like who's got more or anything like that.
Yeah, I know, I
You
know.
know,
It's all
but I'm
good,
like,
dude.
wow, that's really cool. Like I'm just like that's what I would want to aim for, and I feel like I get a good response for the people jumping in my chats, and I'm very thankful for that. So whatever the sub count says,
Yeah,
I'm super thankful for because you could have 20 subscribers and 20 of them are showing up every time and like commenting and like in your live streams going crazy, and you could have like 2,000 subscribers and like one or two people showing up, you know, for your live stream. So I'll never take that for granted. Anybody jumping in the chat and talking to us, and like I said, with the watch alongs that the three of you have been doing, that's the one thing that jumps out to me is you have some very cool people that are jumping out there talking and very active, and that's all you could ask for when you're doing these things. But
yeah. Like I really think your channel and Texas's channel is enough proof that a subscriber count doesn't matter. Because
yeah,
the both of you guys have, a good amount of people in the stream chats. You guys
yeah,
have low sub count. Okay, to me that's just whatever. Okay, but
yeah.
so it's a low sub count. But at least you guys are like, I mean, throughout this whole stream, looked like you had at least 20 plus the entire time. So it's
That's
I don't even
I'm
get
gonna put
that,
that on you guys. You guys brought the crowd tonight.
Yeah. See, that's actually another thing with watch parties. Like, I don't really. The numbers are not my main focus, but sometimes in my head, I'm like, is a crowd of people going to be into what I'm scheduling right now? That can be a challenge sometimes.
No, I'll tell you what though. Tonight was a great night. Without I'm not gonna lie and that I didn't look at the number ever. We had a great crowd with us tonight. To me, we had a great group of people out here watching and interacting, and I had a great time. Even with if they weren't doing that, I had a fun time talking to the three of you. But there was a great group of people out here, and I don't know. You can't say that. I mean, that's the reason you do this, the live stream thing. You know, you got people like that jumping out and talking, and you get to have that interaction. And people brought it tonight. I'm over the moon. I mean, there's people were so active tonight in this, and I feel bad because I do a bad job keeping up with all the live the chats and everything, but. I think I said hi to everybody that threw something out there, and I appreciate it. And I know the three of you do as well too, because I see you show that appreciation when you're doing your watch alongs and they're jumping out there and talking to you as well.
No, like I can relate to how you feel though. Like, like overlooking a comment by accident, you're not acknowledging somebody because, like I hear you, like you mentioned it briefly. So it's the last thing you want to do is overlook someone who's spending
Right,
time here to interact, But
right.
sometimes the chat can be so overwhelming. Like I know, like for me, it's hard for me to get to the whole chat sometimes. I have to just look at it as, look, I can just get to what I can handle here, what I can, what I'm able to really control and handle for a stream. So
Yep.
I just try not to get too worked up over it. But it is in like the front of my head during the stream, like, there's some people that were here tonight. I didn't get to say hi to them.
I know.
Like
Yeah.
I
Right.
feel bad about that sometimes, though.
Yeah. And that's where I hope I hope they understand. I'm a very
Yeah.
limited person, and I can only can do too much. But so we'll say I see a new one jumping in here. I'll say hi real quick. Nanette's Blood Rose Horror Nightmare saying hello to everybody. That was one I know
Yeah.
I haven't said hi to yet tonight, so we'll say that. But again, if y'all will hang out for just a second, we'll wrap it up for tonight because I know I took you longer than we were talking about. But again, the three of you, thank you so much for hanging out. Everybody in the chat, that's the reason we do these live streams. You guys are awesome. The chat was awesome. I know I didn't hit every single one that was out there, but I appreciate you being out here with your the long haul or jumping in for a little bit or gonna hit a replay of the stream. Thank you so much. That's why we do this. It's fun to hang out with friends and get to talk with you. So with that, we'll probably wrap it up for the evening. And we'll say goodnight to everybody. And thank you very much for hanging out with us.